We are live. Oh my gosh, and we're on the live scene, not the stream starting soon. And I forgot to turn the music on.
Oops.
It's fine. We have no
we were too
viewers
busy
yet.
discussing sci-fi.
Whoops. Holy cow. There we go. So the way you feel about nachos is, specifically movie theater nachos, is the way I feel about movie theater popcorn. I think movie theater popcorn is incredible. And you can't make it yourself. People are always like, oh, we'll make it just like the movie theater. It's like, no, you won't. It's not the same.
Yeah, you literally would have to pop all the corn, and they have the slow popper and also the specific butter, and it sits there and it turns. It's
right.
Sort of like a rotisserie chicken. Yes, you can try to oven bake a rotisserie chicken. You might get kind of close, but it's not the same as a Sam's Club rotisserie chicken. You have perfection, attempted perfection.
Yeah, movie theater. The thing is, though, movie theater popcorn hurts me. Like it before the movie is over, I'll be sick. I can, like something about like the grease or the butter, my stomach just can't handle it.
Yeah, probably too much that's synthetic, because that's just how they make stuff at this point. That is why the good Lord created antacid juice.
Right.
I even have like a bottle that sits in my purse, because I never know when I'm going to start to have a reaction over something. I ended up eating something like peanut butter, just randomly. I think it was literally the wrong thing brought to the table or set through the drive-thru when I ate it out of guilt. And I think I did end like half a bottle. I think I literally looked at my mom at one point and I'm like, I think I might be getting allergic to peanuts.
Oh jeez.
It's starting to feel a little dangerous.
So, on that note, my favorite breakfast syrup is blackberry syrup, like on pancakes, waffles, whatever. And sometime in my mid-20s, I was eating breakfast food with blackberry syrup, and my throat started itching, and I didn't think anything about it, and I kept eating, and I'm eating syrup with like berries in it. It's like as much blackberry as blackberry can be, and my throat started swelling up, and I was like, maybe I should stop eating this. And then later on at a different point I had it again and it did the same thing, and after that point I was like, I guess I just can't eat blackberries anymore.
Yeah, that's the moment when you're like, yeah, definitely getting allergic here.
Just so random. And like my favorite syrup.
Well, the way allergies work, it's repeated exposure. It doesn't mean you're going to have a ridiculous level reaction the first time you're in contact. You might be fine for ages. Ian
Right.
used to do macadamia nuts on occasion, but eventually it was one too many, and now it's getting a little dangerous.
Oh, jeez. Man, and I love macadamia nut cookies. I don't know what I would do without them.
Oh, chocolate with little white chocolate pieces, not a ton, and lots of white macadamia nuts. Delish. The old cookie that was in Subway.
Yes, that's actually exactly what I was thinking about, was the white chocolate chip macadamia nut cookie from Subway. It was an incredible cookie. Do they not still have it?
Almost nowhere. They sometimes will have a regular Toll House style cookie that has macadamia nuts in it, but it has even become rare.
That's a shame. It's like, sometimes I think about that with like certain fast food items that like I really, really, really loved, and then they discontinued them. And it's like that Titanic meme where it's like, it exists now only in my memory.
Oh Lord. Yeah, but that's true. Yeah, we were the same way with the caramel apple empanadas from Taco Bell.
Oh my god. Don't get me
dad
started
still
on
asks
those.
for them.
Yeah, it's been like 15 years since they had those, but they were so good. I don't know why they stopped.
I have no idea either, but they brought back a empanada, but it's chicken and cheese.
I just
It's
had it
basically a
yesterday.
quesadilla.
I just had it yesterday. I didn't love it. I didn't think it was the greatest thing ever.
It wasn't phenomenal, but it wasn't terrible either.
It wasn't bad. It comes with like a cheese, like almost a spicy cheese sauce that I dipped it in that I thought was good.
Yep. It's a cheese sauce they're using in other things in their menu right now.
I saw
So they'll go away together.
I saw a comedian that was like, Taco Bell's the ultimate scam because 90% of their menu is just the exact same thing. It's just some variation of all the same like 10 ingredients, and then like drenched in cheese sauce, and then they like bastardize a Mexican word. Like the empanada is actually called like a crunchinada or something right now, and they're all the same. They're all the same.
Crispanada is what they're calling it.
Yeah, the crispanada. That's
right.
what it is.
For whatever reason, they're refusing to call it an empanada.
It's probably like the legally distinct empanada.
I did find out from my last experiment, I got the taste in the apples and the caramel sauce about perfect. But I tried to use store-bought pie shells because making pie shells from scratch is a little, I want to break things.
Yeah.
I try to use too much butter, and I think it's like, shortening or lard is what you're supposed to use if you want them to hold up under some brutality. And I'm gonna have to literally look up an empanada batter recipe because every time I tried to fold them, I would just have apple and caramel going everywhere, and I ended up making a caramel apple pie.
But empanada.
Still same idea.
Empanada is like a very distinct type of crust. Like it's very flaky. I think.
Yes, it's very flaky. It's thick, and I finally figured out why it's so damn thick.
Yeah, it's very dense.
To suffer through that brutality and pressure.
I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
All right, we are on the live scene. However, we have been disbanded.
Yes, I am in Orsinium, just standing by my lonesome by the way shrine.
All right, I'm about 30 feet from the way shrine, so I'll come find you. We have one viewer right now. Hello.
Hello.
Where is Azander?
He's just standing right next to me.
Oh, you know what? He didn't
Glowy
appear until I grouped up with you. You might have... There's a setting buried...
Humans.
Well, there's a setting buried somewhere in the settings menu that...
Oh my goodness.
You can toggle so that your follower disappears in cities. And I think it's on by default. You can turn it off, though.
No, I think he's usually on. I've been in the settings before. We'll figure it out. I don't know. Oh, never mind. I thought you had her in the just little top and sort of covering her midriff thing.
You thought that was her
fur?
fur?
Full armor.
Yeah, no, she's not that exposed. That would be embarrassing for everyone.
Well, there's lots of people that are walking around with that, where it's like just barely covering the bust and just barely covering, you know,
there's
upper third of the thigh.
Okay, so I was on here earlier today, just like because I took a half day from work, so I got home and I wanted to do my daily writs before I took a nap. And I got to one of the way shrines in Orsinium, or in Rothgar, to come back to Orsinium, and there was a person standing at the way shrine. You know how people go AFK? And she's a wood elf, and she's obviously toggled herself to be as short as possible, so she's like 3'9", and
child-sized.
Yes, and her guild name is like the Lolly Girls or something, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's a little creepy.
Like, excessively creepy. From my perspective, you are standing... It looks like you are riding Bill the Donkey.
Oh, that's funny. Bill's in a completely different location for me. Oh my goodness, it's gonna be one of those nights. I can already
It's gonna be a
feel it.
chaotic night, yeah. Alright, well... Shadow,
So,
you are the Pathfinder, and you need to determine what we have left to do in Hrothgar. I know a couple things, but...
yeah, you had found some things in the
Yeah.
area, so I'm fine following
I found a
you.
public dungeon.
You found a public dungeon?
Yeah. It's a public dungeon. Those are the good ones, where the enemy density is real high, but it's still manageable.
Yeah.
It's got a quest and a sky shard. It's actually the last sky shard I need in Hrothgar.
Yeah, I'm missing 2, so that's interesting. I can eventually go through the zone guide, though, and figure out what random bullshittery I don't have.
Wait, go through the... Look on the zone guide and tell me what the other sky shard is. Because it might be the same one as me, and there's one that's actually not far from that public dungeon, which was the other one that I needed. One will say Old Orsinium.
This has got to be the Old Orsinium one, caught in the webs of the old city. That
Yeah.
has to be.
That's the Old Orsinium one. What's the other one?
Smuggled away in Shipwreck Cove.
Yeah, that's the exact same one I had. So if you look on the map, if you pull up your map and zoom out to the actual city, in the non-frozen half of Hrothgar, you see where the bay dips down, the deepest southernmost point that the bay dips down, and there's like a few little islands.
Yeah.
That point right on the coast there is Shipwreck Cove. And then if you follow that coastline up to the left, right to the very most western edge of the coastline, that's where Old Orsinium is. It's kind of buried in a cliff face. Both of the sky shards are close.
Do you care if we look for... We'll go to Great Bay Way Shrine, and I'll hunt for the other sky shard too, if you don't mind?
You mean Shipwreck Cove?
Yeah, Shipwreck Cove.
No, I don't mind. I can show you exactly where it is. Because I got it when I discovered Old Orsinium, because that was also the other one I needed.
Yeah, if Old Orsinium is down here, then that'll definitely work.
Mm-hmm. The only downside is this place is crawling with enemies. And it's nighttime. So this is kind of a... This is kind of...
part of my soul.
This is kind of a funny story, but I assumed, like, my thinking was, it'll be out in the shipwrecks that you can see off in the distance. So I started swimming out of them. They're pretty far out.
Oh, did you get eaten by slaughterfish?
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, I knew that. It happened to me a couple times.
Now I know it's a thing.
I think I texted you the first time that happened.
You might
have.
I was
like super delighted about it.
My health started going down, and before I could do anything, I was gone. I was skelefied. At some point, I need to Google what is the single best Stam Sorcerer gear set, where I can get it, and then just farm that for like a few days till I have the full set.
Yeah, I think the 2 sets I have right now are pretty damn decent. I keep finding the good sets by accident. The ones that are here in Orsinium I actually thought were pretty damn good.
Yeah, Orsinium's had a lot of good stuff.
And if you ever want something leveled correctly to what your level is, and you've gotten the gear sometime in the past, there's a guy in Clockwork City that will fix it for you. Apparently you eventually can get a station from him.
I was actually thinking about Clockwork City today, because if we want to end up going with Morrowind as our next expansion adventure, Clockwork City is actually a direct sequel, as far as the DLC, to Morrowind. So we could go right from one end to the other.
Yeah, Clockwork City, easily my favorite.
I haven't played it yet. There's actually a good amount of the game that I haven't played yet.
I only went there because it was some kind of event that was going on that had like multiple locations. It was like everything Dark Elf was
You should be able to
at that
see the
moment.
Sky Shard at this point.
Yep, I can see it.
Somewhere up in those rocks.
Or Rubdite? Rubite?
Warvenor for me.
Fuck it. Oh, sorry.
Fancy rocks.
Oh wait, you have it rated, so it's okay if I occasionally curse. I do it by accident.
So, legally, if we're playing any kind of M-rated game, the stream has to be rated 18 and up. Which gives us leniency in a variety of ways. I heard...
my mouth, that needs to happen anyways.
Oh, hey, there's a, looks like one of the Orsinian museum pieces over here. There's like a little cove here with a skeleton. Actually, an orc skeleton. Right here. I'm jumping up and down.
Oh, found you. Just a lot of walls.
Yeah, I just heard that, I don't know if this is true, but I heard from one of my Discord/Twitch friends named Black and Yellow that Discord is actually making it so that if you put the 18 and up tag on your stream is automatically hidden from, I don't remember, anyone that's not logged in, or like anyone that's not verified, something like that. So like to try and prevent underage people from watching your streams.
That makes sense.
So Old Orsinium is actually way up in the peaks. We have to go all the way back around and access it from behind the mountains.
I just figured that out.
Yeah. As far as I could tell, I tried to go in it and hunt the Sky Shard. And I did like a full rotation of the dungeon, and I was okay. It's mostly filled with hag ravens, giant spiders, and large hordes of grizzly bears.
Oh, this is gonna annoy my companion.
What?
Mushroom!
Oh.
Every time I dig up a mushroom, Xander gets pissy.
I feel like a lot of things annoy him.
It's an arbitrary thing that he dislikes. It apparently grosses him out.
Mushrooms.
But you know...
Wait, isn't he from the Necrom expansion?
Yes.
Well, that's Dark Elf, so maybe he has some problem with, like, Dark Elf mushrooms. Because the Telvanni live in mushroom towers.
Yeah, is that where the original Morrowind game is supposed to be?
I'm not sure. I never played Morrowind. I mean, I did, but only for like 10 minutes. So, basically, I've never played it. I don't know if it's just Vardenfell, or if it's more extensive than that. Because there are 3 major Dark Elf content pieces in this game. Which is the Ebonheart Pact. A lot of it takes place along the along the Morrowind coastlines.
Red Mountain?
Yeah. And then, Red Mountain is in Vardenfell, which is the main big island. And Vardenfell is the entire zone for the Morrowind expansion. And then Necrom...
I think we need to go higher.
Yeah, there's a staircase right here. And then Necrom, which is the second newest expansion, is also completely in Dark Elf lands. There's also like a little cave in there. smuggler's cove with some goodies. But it's hard to get out once you get in. You have to drop through the waterfall.
Yeah, I can see in. I don't see a whole ton in there right now.
The quest is just inside.
That's usually how it works. They're either right outside or right inside.
Mm-hmm. I haven't talked to him yet. I've only seen him standing there. And then there's a section of this dungeon. It looks like when you look at it right now that it's just a big, essentially, circle. But in the top right corner, you can actually.
There's an arrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those
arrows are always so deceptive.
It's actually massive.
Failed you. The pyre. It must burn. Malakath's pyre, at the heart of Old Orsinium. My order lights it every decade, but those of us chosen to set it aflame were ambushed. Doesn't matter. Light the brazier to begin the rites of praise and scorn. Malakath will guide you through Hammer's bypass and Temper's Fork if you are worthy of his regard. Vengeance for Malakath. Promise me you'll light the pyre. Swear it.
Uh-huh.
Now, I can finally rest. Lighting Malakath's pyre is all you can do. Every 10 years it must be lit anew. For 1,000 years we have done this. We will do so for 1,000 more. Malakath never forgets. Malakath never forgives. We honor Old Orsinium's creation and scorn its fall. My order shows Malakath we will not repeat their mistakes.
So that's like an extreme fundamentalist orc.
I worked that out.
There's always fundamentalists wherever you go.
Yeah, they're particularly fun in Dragon Age.
Oh, don't get me started. Dragon Age is such a religious series.
You know, it depends on the characters.
Another seeks to light my pyre. Weaker than those who fell. We shall see.
Well, we actually have the Daedric Prince's attention, which could actually be good, but it's probably bad.
Last time we had the full-blown attention of a Daedric Prince, one of our friends got ripped in half. If you remember correctly.
Technically, didn't we have the attention of several Daedric Princes at that point?
At least 2, maybe 3.
It was Clavicus, Vile, Nocturnal, and there was somebody else.
I want to say.
Termina?
Yeah.
No,
yep.
Namera?
Namera. Yep. Yeah, I felt like the grand arcing Daedric narrative in Somerset was a little weird. Like, I feel like they didn't really know what to do, so they were just like, just throw in 3 Daedric princes.
I mean, they do constantly fight, so that's not like a terrible idea. But having Nocturnal end up like the main enemy is a little weird. She tends to be considered one of the more trustable. I wouldn't call it noble. Loyal?
Well, she's not objectively evil like some of them can be. She's more of just a primordial force. So my guess is that the section of this place that is filled with webs and spiders is going to be where we find the Sky Shard.
No.
Oh, let's talk to this.
Stand before Malakath, Daedric Prince of Vengeance. Mortals often gawk and grovel. You do not. Bow. Never bow. Only show the top of your head.
I love that he's making fun of Molag Bal.
Do you think I require supplication? Do you mistake me for Molag Bal? You fled. You didn't stoke the flames of vengeance in your heart. And
I love it that he's so judgy of us escaping instead of like murdering Molag Bal. It's like
yeah, that's very,
possible.
Very rational.
Great pyre, so my wrath can smolder for another generation. Breach the gates, as invaders breached Old Orsinium.
I don't want to be... I don't know how rude I can be to this guy.
The Daedric Prince of Vengeance to help you open
He's
a door.
pretty much a straight talker. I actually kind of like him.
Like the struggle mortal.
The Klingon warrior archetype are generally pretty... What you see is what you get.
Yeah.
Honor the clans who carved out a mountainside to raise these walls. Those who armed, fed, and ruled this city in its
I like
prime.
Malakath's aspect as the god of outcasts.
To try this spell out.
I think
I
that's...
really liked his side quest in Oblivion. It's one of the ones I actually remember, where you are
better than ever
attached to a
Sorcery. That's
group
a word,
of
right?
orcs and other outcasts, and you have to teach them, but also fight with them. Because it's like overwhelming odds, and they've been brave so far. So it was nice because it had somebody else with character development, and it also like showed a good side of a Daedric prince. Other than like Meridia literally like hijacks you, throws you in an undead dungeon, and then orders you to purge of all the undead.
Meridia is a weird one. I meant to tell you, Ember leveled up her healing staff skill line again and got a new
Cool.
skill. So at this point right now, her entire skill bar, I think she's not max level yet, so she only has 4 abilities, but all 4 abilities are heals.
That's a lot of healing.
Yeah, so she should, as long as you can kind of help keep her alive as much as you're able, she should, conversely, keep all of us alive.
Yeah, that's why I keep a healing spell on my character. It's just, one, self-preservation for me, but it's nice to be able to, like, save somebody's life if things get too dangerous.
This is a cool
But I'm
looking
not a
dungeon.
healer.
No, you're a tank. This is a cool looking dungeon, but that roof looks excessively heavy and excessively not secure.
Yeah, it's pretty damaged. A lot of bear, like an excessive amount. Like, no great bear is going to be in a horde of, like, 5 or...
Yeah, aren't bears solitary? They're not pack animals.
Unless they're trying to, make little bears.
Oh my. Bears are so cute though. I mean, baby bears are cute. Big bears are scary.
Yeah, and you barely get to enjoy the cuteness of a little bear, and then you realize that there's a big bear gonna be following it.
Some might say you barely get to enjoy it.
Ah.
Alexander and Ember just having their own little battle over there.
Yes, I'm literally stuck on the wall again. Oh, I finally got loose.
Praised are Igrin, who ruled with steel blade and iron will. Ruthless, fearless leaders strengthen all who follow.
Nicely done. Halfway there.
No, I haven't noticed any, like, bosses in here, and usually public dungeons have tons of bosses.
Right. I assume it'll be like a hag raven or a giant bear. But
I mean, I guess this is the first one. Expansion. I don't
Right.
remember public dungeons were part of the original.
Praised are Tumnosh, the great builders.
I don't know.
Fear the weight of mountains as they carved and shaped Orsinium.
Oh, so he doesn't just like violence, he likes builders too. That's comforting.
Ew, that's a lot of spiders. I don't like seeing them all in a group.
It's giving you some butt pucker.
That's a term for it. Ew, look at this giant web egg. It's so big.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a
I
boss.
don't want.
Great
Cool.
Zora Luma. Oh,
Let's kill her.
that's a big one. I hate it. It's actually
Careful.
giving
this
me
one looks tough.
some slight arachnophobia. Ew. Horrible.
Oh, I got a crafting motif out of it.
Nice.
Ancient orc style.
Wow.
So you must have to not marvel. Oh my god, my brain! Farm the bosses down here for the different pieces.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I bet that's a pretty rare drop. I wish they would make an Ashka tier a mount. Like one of the super heavy
I think
mounts.
there is one.
I
It's just not
it
like
might
on
just
the
be
normal
in,
store.
yeah, it's like on rotation. I
I've
think that
certainly seen
that'd be a
somebody
cool mount.
riding one before.
Have you? I've never seen it. I would like. I know that the Nixox is a mount. It's just also not on rotation. Because I would love to like ride a Nixox while we're in Morrowind.
It looks like we gotta go through the center. Be useful anyways because we still have a bunch of areas we haven't looked for the Sky Shard.
Mm-hmm.
And more bosses. Though there's so many achievements in this game, how would you even be able to like check an area to see what you're missing?
I saw an article sometime this week that one of the higher up devs for ZeniMax Online, which is the team that, you know, makes ESO, and he was saying that he feels like ZeniMax should be considered one of the more prolific
Feels good to get the
game
blood
studios
pumping, right?
in 2024, because at this point, over the last 10 years, they've effectively made 10 AAA games in one game. I think he was referencing each expansion.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't think
Your
the expansions are a full
expectations-
AAA game.
Yeah, your expectations in that expansion are different than the actual AAA game.
Right. Because I think the content is probably there. There's probably an equitable amount of content, and certainly the length, but they're all the same gameplay too.
Yeah.
Like, they're not rebuilding the game every time. And like the newest one, they're not even adding a new class. I'm still disappointed about that. And we still haven't heard anything about new followers. I don't think the new expansion has new followers.
That's sad, because I don't think we even have every race accounted for yet, do we?
No, we don't. There's no orc, there's no wood elf, there's no high elf. I think that's it. Yeah, because, no, there's no Nord. Actually, a Nord companion would be kind of fun. The problem is, they've never really released anything like a pure warrior class. So, like, what would you make a Nord? You know, like a Dragon Knight? Doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, they're pretty, excited over the fact that they're the place where the Dragonborn originates from.
The Nords are definitely one of the more culturally proud races.
We're dangerous, huh?
But Skyrim is the homeland of all humans, other than Redguard. It's called the Old Kingdom. So, like, I mean, I guess that's a reason to be pretty proud. Ysgramor was the first human to step foot on Tamriel, and he landed in Skyrim with his
We
500
never found the sky
companions.
shard.
There's still a lot of dungeon left.
Oh. We're about to loop.
It's got to be somewhere with spiders. Presumably lots of webbing.
I kind of see that area we were just in that looks like it's an old chapel or great hall.
Yeah.
I think there might be a second tier to it.
Is it possible there's a level above us?
Yeah, that's what I'm...
Oh boy. Choose the honored clans.
choose the
Shatul
honored
was
clan.
one, for sure. I don't think the order matters. Okay, that didn't do anything.
Tumnush.
It was Ingrun.
He praised the builders. He praised
Yeah.
the hunters.
Yep. And then Shatul. But like I just did Shatul and it didn't do anything.
Isn't Morkel one of them? Are those the warriors?
Do we have to do it in the right order? Oh, I did something. I'm doing the builders. Oh, something just moved. Okay, so the builders were first, I think, because that one's not marked
Yeah,
anymore.
it just reset for me too. I think ours are not linked for whatever reason.
Who was the last one? The builders? Igrun?
I'm not sure.
I did it.
There are not tools to build strong walls. Then there is no need for weapons to defend. And if you cannot feed your people, there will be nothing to rule. A strong ruler is nothing if he stands alone.
Oh, there's another whole area. Excellent.
The interior. That might explain why we didn't see a sky shard anywhere.
Yeah. Oh, you can literally see the full map superimposed now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
huge.
massive. It's down here. Nothing.
Water and death.
Yeah. We are the danger.
Time to bring the lightning.
Ouch. Winterborn butchers. Are these reachmen? By the looks of them?
Not sure.
Winterborn sounds like a reachman clan, and they're using ice magic. And they're
Yeah, I
dressed.
wanted to
They are
check
dressed
out-
like barbarians.
Hey, let's go the other way first. I want to make sure we don't miss a boss. I'd rather not have to do this place over. It supposedly is in here.
This looks like
Kind
a
of cool
boss.
area.
There's an aspect of Malakath here, but I can't interact with it. Bunch of dead people. Almost feels like this should have been a boss, right?
Oh god, that's not me. Sorry. Somebody's beating on something close by.
Like, this room definitely feels like a boss of some sort. There's nothing else
Doesn't
here.
it? Hopefully it has us loop back because there's nothing here right now. And usually a boss would, at least the corpse would still be here.
Right. Maybe the quest brings us back here.
Let's hope. I was just trying to be thorough because this place looked big.
Mm-hmm. If my memory serves, the public dungeon in Somerset was also enormous. It was like an entire code. Yeah, see, they're being led by Hack Ravens. This has got to be Reach clans.
Yeah, it has to.
You're looking especially strong lately.
Your skeleton came out from around the corner and just scared the devil out of me.
He makes me jump too.
I was like, what is that? Give me just a sec. I need to send a text.
Take your time.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Oh, I see another aspect of Malachi.
You honored those who forged old Orsinium from nothing. Now you will curse those who caused her fall. Those who cannot unite against a common enemy will fall. Thus the fate of old Orsinium. For this, they earn my scorn. Beyond are the guardians of my wrath. They will keep you from lighting my pyre. Mortal lives are a litany of despair and treachery. Only wrath can see you through the darkest days. Succeed, despite all who oppose you. Grasp at a most spiteful triumph.
Hey, he wants us to curse the old clans.
The old Orsinium clans. I'm not sure, like, there might be far-reaching implications of what we're doing. Although, I guess these are dead clans, right? So it's not going to affect anyone who's alive.
Presumably there's no still living... Oh, I wouldn't suggest walking off the edge. I peeked. I was curious. You're way up there. Something going on, Braun?
I'm sending a text. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're fine. You're totally fine. Just wish you'd said something. I would've been doing something else myself.
Okay. You fell down there?
No, I did not fall.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's definitely a drop.
I was checking something out real quick, though, if you don't mind.
I don't even see you. Oh, there you are.
I'm on the staircase.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm trying to be as fast as I can.
I see hag ravens. Gosh, they're unpleasant. This is an enormous structure. And it looks like it was never really finished.
Well, was it never really finished, or was it destroyed?
No, I
At
don't
some
mean that
point.
it, like, because there's still scaffolding and, like, cranes on the walls.
Somebody might have tried to rebuild it.
Yeah, it's possible, isn't it? Because we know they've rebuilt current Orsinium many times.
Yeah, they don't have a really good, track record with this.
I was reading, canonically, when we killed King Bazrog, or whatever his name was, Canonically, that ends the orcs part of the Daggerfall Covenant.
Oh.
So, yeah. Because it apparently the king that we instated as the High King of Hrothgar does not honor
Approve?
Yeah, he doesn't honor the covenant with High King Emmerich.
That's weird.
Yep. I think that's because you were if you played the game in release order, you would have already played the
Cursed are Bogrock,
Covenant
fighting
quest
fire
line.
that engulfed Orsinium. Warriors should raid the weak to draw out worthy opposition. They should not grow to enjoy it.
I'm sorry. I've got to answer this.
You're okay.
I don't like having to...
There's another player here. Dux Cinerus. And he's CP 2000. Wow.
Yeah, that's getting pretty close. I think it's in the 3s somewhere.
It's either 3 or 4,000 is maximum.
Okay, so we have multiple people we now have to curse. We could go back up the stairs and curse the other group next.
You know,
want.
I always follow your lead.
Even when I ask, it's like, hey, I like having the I'm following people around thing. Which that joke, it's for the BioShock Infinite that it's the longest something quest where you have to walk somebody around. Escort quest.
Oh.
You're just the one being escorted everywhere.
Jeez. At least I keep up with you. I think there's a thing that says escort quests where the person is faster than your walk speed but slower than your run speed, or the developers should be punched.
Oh my gosh, there was an awful one in Dragon's Dogma where it's a really advantaged girl who's a bitch because of being so rich and whatnot. But you literally have to race her, and you have to be only slightly behind her, but you can't beat her. And you can't bump into her, because that'll make her mad too.
Oh jeez.
And if it doesn't work out, you have to load the whole quest line.
What game was that?
Dragon's Dogma. It's, I think,
Oh.
part of Chapter 3. Don't quote me on that, it might be Chapter 2. The Duke's not dead yet.
I didn't make it very far in Dragon's Dogma.
Hoarded the food amidst the siege.
You're not missing all hell of what.
Oh, these are definitely existing clans, because Shatul was the herders, where we helped euthanize their chieftain. Hopefully these aren't
I wonder...
malicious lingering curses that we're gonna really damage these clans.
And this area is kind of suspicious to me. We may get a Sky Shard or another boss in here, so I want to peruse. Oh yes, I see spiders, and I found a chest if you're interested.
You take this one, I'll take the next one. And take it quick before another player shows up.
I'm on it.
Presumably, the Sky Shard will be somewhere with lots of webs. Oh, I see it actually. It just showed up on the map.
You know, the ironic thing about the chests is that the visual isn't what helps me find them. I have those upgrades. It gives me the same tinkling sound as the dig sites.
Oh, really?
That's what I react to the fastest.
Interesting.
Because the tinkling actually starts about 5 to 10 feet before the visual starts. They do that on purpose. This is the same thing that they use for the Nern route during Oblivion.
The Nern route has a sound effect in every game. That's just like a core aspect of Nern route.
Yeah, it's because it was the mother of all collect quests from Oblivion. Most people never completed it.
There was a really awful Crimson Nern route fetch quest in Skyrim. You remember that? It was in Blackreach.
Vaguely.
Oh, it was so bad.
I think they calculated it out that the average person spent like multiple hours looking for Nern route.
Are these spiders just never ending? What the heck?
I don't know. I think a boss could be coming.
They just keep spawning.
Well, we have to kill enough of them that they stop spawning so that we can, you know,
Walk away.
pick up the Sky Shard.
Yeah. Well, we both have the Sky Shard. You
No,
picked it
I
up.
have not.
You didn't pick it up? I watched you pick it up.
It didn't work because we were in combat.
Oh, you got attacked by one? We must have had a lull in combat because I was able to collect it. Okay, I think you're in the clear. That should be the last Sky Shard in Hrothgar for both of us.
Yep, and that got me a skill point.
Nice.
Woo woo, woo woo, woo woo. I'm with you.
They're so hard to get at this point. You have to really think about what you want to spend them on. This is
Yeah, it's a funny dilemma between the two characters. I have so many Sky Shard points with my other character because I wasn't constantly dumping them into either the treasure hunting or the building stuff. So I pretty much have every combat thing maxed out for my active weapons.
well, that's good.
Completely different problems.
Yeah.
Character to character. So it's like, you know, while it's kind of cool to have all those things activated, the honest answer is that as my character, I just don't have the ability to have everything pinned.
Well,
So
I know
some of those abilities are kind of irrelevant.
one thing that like was helpful for me to think about is like crafting is universal.
Oh, I think we found a boss.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is a big troll.
Keep in mind the books that you read for styles and whatnot do not count for all your characters. They'll unlock for your style for the machine that you can use at any time. For just the costuming look.
Yeah.
But not every character will know how to make, let's say, ancient orc style.
Right, you
Just
can
because-
change them in the outfit station, but not in a crafting station. Although
only the person
the
who-
traits that you
who read-
research are universal. You only have to research
they're
them
not.
on one character. Did they change that? Because they used to be. That was the whole point, is you only had one crafting character for all your characters.
Stronger all the time.
No, that's not what it looked like last time I was in it.
That's awful.
could've oozed.
That massively increases the grind. Like, it's bad enough that the steeds aren't universal.
Yeah, they seem to want you to have a character for at least 6 months before you can have full utility out of them.
I don't understand. I was reading a Reddit thread a while back, and they were talking about how you can hit level 50 in like less than a day. And I was like, what kind of gameplay are you doing that you're hitting level 50 in less than a day?
If you did like an 18-hour day, maybe.
Let's hold here for a second.
Yeah,
One of my weapon enchantments just ran out.
You would also need to have an inventory full of the experience boosts.
Well, we don't
and
have
be
a lot of those.
ESO.
I'm sure
I mean,
ESO
you
would
end up-
help.
You
Okay.
end up collecting a lot of them.
I'm good. Yeah, I have a ton.
They work
Actually-
for the, whatchamacallit as well. Champion points.
Yes, they do. They make your champion points accumulate very quickly.
You're kind of terrifying, you know that?
I actually had
Alright.
one that was 150%. A grand experience scroll.
Pretty phenomenal. But aren't they only good for like 30 minutes, or are they still good for an hour?
It's an hour. I wish it was 2 hours, but that would probably be way too good.
I think that they would consider that too OP.
The 2-hour ones are usually 50%. Speaking of which, I forgot to eat a crown meal or pop a scroll. I guess I could do it now.
Just remember, you can only use one food item will be active at a time.
I just used the crown fortifying meal because it does everything.
I just didn't want you to waste stuff that you made. I thought at first it would be like one drink, one food, whatever.
I was doing
And,
that for a while. I was like, I made a bunch and then I was like eating a meal and then drinking a drink. Because like that makes sense. I'm good.
But it doesn't work that way. It's whatever the last thing we took is the thing active then.
Well, the crown meal is the best one because it does. I mean, they all do a lot of different things, but the crown meal just buffs your stamina, magicka, and HP all at once. Other ones do actually. There's a lot of effects that you can get with food, but I'm not like a master chef, so I don't have a lot
Oh
of
yeah, that
phenomenal
felt good.
effects. For a second, I thought this was a different room, and I was like, "Man, this place is massive."
Nope, this is actually the repeat. We came back.
Yeah, we just
from
looped
once we
through.
came.
There's that player again, way down there.
There must be a boss that spawns down there if he's sitting there.
Maybe. Oh, that looks
I
like a
would
boss
assume-
area. No, that's the door. That was the puzzle door.
Usually when they sit and camp a specific area, it's either because, whatchamacallit? They either camp it because it's safe or because there's a boss that's spawning and they're waiting on them to reload.
Oh, I was just getting started.
We're only halfway with cursing these clans.
Yep.
Very fickle god. First he had us honor them with braziers, and now we curse them. So, when I...
Oh, another chest. Back here. Oh, somebody's already been in it. Dick.
Is it empty?
Oh, there's a soul gem left in it. I don't know why they left that.
Probably because they have like 500. What I was gonna say, I fell asleep with my hand pushed up against Wabi's face because he sleeps in bed with me, and I was kind of like going in and out of sleep, and he in his sleep started suckling onto my hand.
Oh, that'd be a little weird to wake up to. Just a little. Sometimes Karen is stuff like that. I want to sleep across your throat throat is the weirdest thing that she
Oh,
does.
thank goodness he hasn't done that, because he would kill me. He's very chunky.
Yeah, I've got asthma. It's not a good way to wake up. I already have breathing trouble.
At least you're not allergic to cats, because that would just be awful.
Oh, I'm very allergic to cats.
Are you
actually.
really? That's awful.
Yep. But I love them too much. They're not going anywhere.
I am allergic, but it depends on the cat. Like, long-haired orange cats will set me off. I wish all enemy density was like this.
Yeah, this feels a bit more correct, doesn't it?
It's definitely a little more stimulating.
Anyone else?
It feels more like a proper battle. Although, like, can you imagine trying to negotiate through Blackreach if it was like this?
Yeah.
It would
and
take
how many
hours.
thousands of... I mean, we're already killing a ridiculous amount of entities.
Yeah. Our kill count would be in the tens of thousands at this point.
I could have an entire army of undead. I like it.
I was standing there trying to throw a dagger at him over and over. Why isn't this working? And I realized I ran out of stamina. It doesn't happen often.
Yeah, my stamina is by far my lowest stat. I said around 12,000.
I bet there's a boss in this room.
I hope so. I really wouldn't mind having something bigger to kill. Something nice and squishy. Oh, I just ran out of a charge on my weapon.
Annoying. Is there a way to set it so that all the poison we have auto-equips when you run out of charge?
Poison? I don't think so. I think you have to...
Because if you just equip it, it overrides your enchantment.
Yeah, correct.
Which is like never the optimal choice.
It really isn't.
I guess like if you're very low level it might be. I was looking around for a boss, but I don't see one. There's like a throne here. Hang on. There is a boss here. Looks like
Yeah.
maybe the leader of this Reach clan.
There's actually a couple named enemies.
Not for long.
Have to break away.
Indeed, they're about to get ulted twice. Remember those two rather 3 or 4 werewolves? Oh,
It was like a whole clan of werewolves.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a horrible fight.
They were all human, and then they all started changing. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yep. And they would continuously howl and bring in wolves
Cursed are
as
Igran, who
meat
praise
bags.
the raiding done in their name. They hid behind these walls when called to account, rather than face their opponents directly.
Oh. So these guys are kind of to blame.
I mean, he's giving
Sure.
solid reasons for all of them. They're definitely all
That
flawed.
suggests that maybe he is actively, like, cursing the clans. But there is, like, a certain amount of, you know, I get that you want accountability, but these people weren't even alive to have done said crime.
Right.
Their children, grandchildren, or great-grandchildren, or even further of the people who did said crime. We don't even know what happened.
Keep in mind, too, based on the guy that gave us this quest, they do this every century. So he's, like, blessing and cursing these tribes every century.
It's a little wacky, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a student once who was grumbling over the slavery issue and how it's always Scottish or Irish people involved in slavery, and I'm like, yeah, they were pretty major slaveholders. But it gets more disturbing if you think about it hard. They're disturbing. I'm like, because they literally would have heard from their grandparents when they were slaves of the British.
Yeah, it's cyclical. It's the same.
It's a
It's
little
like
disturbing.
the circular, the cycle of abuse.
It's like, you know, it's one thing to do a crime, but when you do a crime when it's literally been done to you and you've probably heard about it or experienced the fallout,
Yeah.
it's a little more disturbing.
I wish I could do a fire spell like that. Did you see that? That was great. He like shot flames out of his hand.
Yeah, I've even seen goblins with some cool fire spells. I just want like regular magic again, where we could like throw thunderbolts or fire spells or whatnot.
I'm kind of like holding out hope for this scribing system that they're all excited about, but like I don't want to get too excited.
Use Templar. Choose the Scorn clans.
I have no idea.
Are they all the same? They all get scorned.
I have no idea which one.
It doesn't start with Tuminol. Phaon. Oh, starts with Phaon. No, it doesn't. Okay, it starts with this guy, where I'm standing.
This one seems to be synced.
Probably gonna unsync. Yep. Or reset at least. Alright, so I'm gonna try this one now. This is the boring way to force the solution, but okay. It's these guys. I'm just gonna see if it's boring. It's not. If you're just a circle, I'm going to, you know, have a meltdown. Alright, so let's try Chatal. Okay, so it's here, here, here. Nope. We're getting close. There's not a lot of options left. Alright, I know which order I could get us to the last two. It's Morkel. Ah. But I literally did every other option. Oh, universe. Why for do you do this to me? Alright. We got it.
Hooray!
Not
There's
gloriously.
There's a journal here next to a skeleton. Kinda interesting.
It probably would have told us how to do the solution.
No, I read it. It's just some poor soul brought an expedition here and it didn't end well.
Yeah, it is the answer. Bangrika, and Ingram had been raiding.
Hmm. Shall we enter the forges?
Oh, yeah, sorry. So, damn it! The solution was just a few feet away.
Oh my goodness. These seem different, don't they? These aren't necessarily these orcs.
Not sure. Are these the spirits we summoned through our rage? I wonder if there's something in there.
They're all called wrathful.
Pyre Keeper.
This looks very unsafe.
But I see a boss. He must die.
How do we get up there?
I would assume there's a way back here.
I don't see stairs to him anywhere.
That's so weird. There's definitely a guy up there. He's called the Pyre Keeper. I want to kill him.
Oh
Oh
my
no.
gosh. I just got killed by a fire hazard called the Trial of Flame.
Yeah, that's where we are. Let's get out of here.
I didn't realize the flames igniting did damage.
Yeah, they most certainly do. I wonder how that actually works.
He definitely seems like a boss.
Yeah, I just don't know how we're... And I have a cell phone right next to me. Give me a second. I want to inquire of the Google gods.
What are you thinking?
Okay. You have to defeat all enemies in his room.
Well, we were close to that.
Okay. I think we just have to pay more attention to the ground and when the hazard is in the area.
Whoa, 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 what? I wasn't even standing on it and it killed me.
Yeah, I don't think its hitbox is a little further than it looks.
There doesn't seem to be much of a pattern to it either.
There are some areas that are safe though.
Around the edges.
Okay.
Jeez.
Okay, it's cool on this area.
You are not worthy of Malacath.
The edge is fairly safe. Relatively speaking.
He has just jumped down onto the ground level. I'm going to engage him.
I'm on my way.
And now the floor's igniting.
Oh shoot. Oh shoot. some damage when it wants. Did we get him?
I got him.
We got him?
We got him. And I did get the achievement
Yeah,
for Old Orsinium.
Yeah, that must have been the last boss.
Perfect. Because I feel like the Great Pyre is also the last thing we need to do. Pretty good dungeon, huh? Considering we didn't even know it was here.
It was an interesting boss fight, too. I
This
just wish it had been a little bit clearer.
is definitely the Great Pyre.
Who builds the Great Pyre? Or is it like a spiritual thing?
Right. Talk to the aspect of Malika. I love the way they present the Daedric princes when they're not fully manifested.
Great pyre burns. Its ashes
This is a kind of cool idea with him on as a motif.
Mm-hmm.
Despite all arrayed against you, today you rekindled the simmer of hatred at the heart of the orcs. May it fuel their vengeance for another generation. Go, spread my wrath
Right.
to the corners of the world.
Fun times. Lots
You're
of
looking especially
murder and
strong
mayhem.
lately. I like it.
I need to check something. Ooh, my goodness.
I just knew you would be the one to use it.
I just wanted to see what it looked like, because it looked like a torch, and I'm all about being able to hold a torch, but it's more of an axe.
It does create fire.
Indeed.
Because it's wrathful.
He's very much like an Ares kind of god. Alright, let's see if we can get out of here without getting too much
There's a
damage.
shortcut.
Bethesda was always good at designing their dungeons.
Give me a second, I gotta give love to Phoebe. She has woken up and decided to see her mommy. We'll be having Memorial Day together, Phoebe. There's no one else around.
Where are they currently?
They had crossed the Mississippi yesterday.
Are they not
Louisiana,
traveling
Idaho.
non-stop?
They're pretty well traveling non-stop. They're stopping at night to sleep, of course. And
Yeah.
Fiona especially. Mom and Dad would try to camp in the car if it was just them. But the dog cannot do that.
Right.
She gets too stressed. Oh, what a good kitten. She's head bonking me. Oh. She's such a sweet kitten, but don't look too deep into Phoebe's eyes. Because she could manipulate your will.
Oh jeez. Low level telepathy.
She can wrap anyone around her paws, just whether or not she's too afraid of them to try. She has that whole I'm a cute kitten thing going on. She
Like
tells
the-
anyone that'll listen that she never eats. Yeah, I'm so hungry. Oh man.
I like the hag ravens that engage in combat with like the signature kind of malevolent arrogance of an old hag witch, only to realize that like they've made a critical final mistake.
That's generally how it goes for most powerful malevolent creatures.
Yeah.
Or it goes the other way as the mortal where you're like, well shit, this is OP.
Yeah.
I'm so screwed.
Speaking of like old powerful wizards, I didn't realize this, but House Telvanni in Morrowind, some of the Telvanni wizards, even up to the point of like the ones that you see in like Oblivion, are like over 4,000 years old. Like they're old enough.
Really? So they,
Yeah, they're old
had
enough
this
to
thing-
remember before they were Dunmer.
Cursed.
Yeah.
I find it weird that, God, I can't think of her name. I know it starts with a V now. The tribunal...
Oh, Alexia.
Alexia. I don't know why I was thinking like Sandra or what. Never mind.
Vivek starts with a V. He's the only one that might still be alive. We don't actually know what happened to him.
Nicely
Doesn't
done.
he? I'm pretty sure he gets killed in Morrowind.
No, Alexia goes crazy and she kills Sothasiel. Vivek's fate is undetermined. It's not clear if he died or if he just left.
He's kind of arrogant. Do you really imagine he would just, go into hiding?
I think if he did, it would be because he failed the Dunmer.
You see, it's kind of like, not that I'm going to mention them aloud, certain political entities and other such people that, when you get to such a grandiose level, you don't just disappear. You can't do without either causing chaos or getting adoration.
Sothasiel, in my opinion, was the most noble of the three.
He didn't give a shit. That was his saving grace. He
Did I send
didn't care.
Did I send you the quote from Sothasiel that I read today?
No, you didn't.
Wait,
I wish you had.
hang on. We're in a fairly safe spot. Let me read it real quick. It is like a biblically written quote. Okay, this is Sothasiel. I am whatever the people need me to be. A guardian, an oppressor. For some, too distant. For others, too meddlesome. I am the canvas upon which they paint their dreams and resentments. A vessel for their hopes and doubts. A mirror, nothing more.
Yeah, that's from the Clockwork City.
Like,
if you ask him.
For him, for a god to say that they are a mirror, is like, that's like the most profound thing I've ever heard. Because it's so true.
He never acknowledges that he's a god. He does talk about how well he knows the Daedra and how long he's lived, but if you ask him about being a god too much, that's his final answer after you solve the problems, is that quote.
It's fascinating. He's also the only member of the tribunal that chose to fully accept the appearance of a Dunmer, because
Amalexia
chooses to remain unchanged as a Chimer, and Vivek is half and half. Sothasiel, in my understanding, chose to... He could have resisted, and, looked however he wanted, but he chose to look like a Dunmer, so that, like, a solidarity with his people.
There's also kind of a triad thing going on there. One in between, one that still looks like an Altmer, one that looks like a Dunmer.
So the Dunmer before the Tribunal worshipped 3 Daedra, Azura, Boethia, and one other one.
Wasn't it 2 sets of 3? Because isn't there the House of Troubles
3.
as well as the House?
It's 3 because the Tribunal the Tribunal kind of represents each of the 3. Like, Amalexia represents, I believe, Boethia, as far as, like, schemes and secret murder and stuff. Vivek... Sothasiel, I believe, represents Azura. The Dunmer are so complex. They're, like, by far the most well-fleshed out aspect of Elder Scrolls.
There's also, like, different tangents on them, because there's, I remember the House of Troubles gets talked about a lot, and that's a triad of, Daedra as well, but
yeah,
the main triad pantheon, because by the time Oblivion happens, so much of the Tribunal is either dead or missing, that they pretty well gone back to worshipping. But I know Azura is definitely one of them, but I don't remember the other 2 definitively.
I think we're talking about the same Trinity. I think it's always the same 3. Yeah, because after the Tribunal is gone, the 3 Daedra kind of represent themselves. And
there's a House of Troubles, and there's 3 in it, because Sheogorath is considered the head of the House of Troubles.
Well, the 3 that they worship like before the tribunal, they consider them the 3 good Daedra. So maybe the House of Troubles is like what they considered the arch nemesis Daedra.
Yeah, I don't. I've heard the term, but they never really gave a cultural context to it, so I have no no ability to do anything with it. Then.
Yeah, the Dunmer are interesting because there's so much like Eastern Buddhism to the tribunal, but then there's also a lot of like Christianity, and like they have knights and stuff. It's a really interesting amalgamation of real world lore.
Yeah, some writers are really great at that. One of my favorite series is Imager's Portfolio, and the religions talked about in that particular series. They're similar in some ways to the religions present in our world, but they're enough different, kind of different cool ways. Because ironically, the group that has the holy spaces called churches is kind of the bad guys, but they're not really Christianity, because they don't really have any of the same tenets as Christianity.
Well, it's like Warhammer being space Catholics.
I didn't see that.
But have you ever heard that? I mean, Warhammer is space Catholics, Star Wars is space Nazis, and Dune is space radical Islamists.
He does use some of those terms, but there's almost nothing connecting the Doom series to.
Well, there's
Islam.
almost nothing connecting any of them. It's all imagery. Like, right, he uses the word jihad.
He does.
Stormtroopers are
The
called
Star Wars-
stormtroopers.
The Star Wars one is probably the most that was actually intended to
Yes.
be read that way.
Yeah. Even the design of the stormtroopers' helmets is reminiscent of a German helmet. Like the silhouette is the same.
Yes,
Warhammer is more
most
overt.
definitely.
It's very aesthetic. It's not ideological.
Yeah, just
some-
because of the cathedral thing.
Some people get hung up because they're making fun of Christianity. It's like only aesthetically, not ideologically. That was a really fun dungeon, and I love this overlook here.
Yeah, it's very pretty. Of course, a lot of Hrothgar has been really pretty. Though I think this may be going back to our roots kind of deal of that we like mountainous areas. You and I both like the
Yeah.
Reach, and we've liked here.
I'm gonna miss how vertical Hrothgar is because a lot of expansions that I've played are very flat.
Yeah.
Like
definitely.
Somerset was almost completely flat, except for that one horrible mountain range.
Necrom is not. There's
I don't
multiple tiers
remember.
in it as well.
I think Morrowind is fairly vertical because it's got Red Mountain in the middle and various mountain ranges.
Yeah, I've liked the Rest Haven area or Fairy. Give me a second.
Skyrim was
Stormhold.
fairly flat, I think.
Where are you? Yeah, Stormhaven is where I am with my other character right now. I've been heart packed.
Okay.
So I'm going through those. Is that right? No, Daggerfall Covenant. I'm an idiot.
I
that's where
have the
the-
character in the
that's-
Daggerfall Covenant, and I just made it to the capital.
Yeah, that's the Stormhaven area.
Gotcha.
Stormhaven is this zone, and I think Rest Haven? No, Wayrest. is
Wayrest. That's actually the Covenant capital.
Yeah, there's actually 2 really well written side quests in that zone.
It was a little
which I
hard for
really
me
surprised.
once I got to that point, just because the Bretons' homelands are so much like generic fantasy, like generic European fantasy, that I don't know, it just felt a little generic to me.
Yeah, I spent so much time doing JRPGs and Japanese fantasy that there's stuff about this, like the Dremora are not more human or more powerful than other Daedra, and that bothers me on so many levels, because I'm used to that. If it's a creature that looks really human, then they're really powerful and dangerous.
Well, and it's some of the Daedric princes have human forms, but a lot of them don't. And even the ones that do have human forms, that's not like their primary core form.
Yeah.
That's
You know
kind of what I love about the Daedra. Well, not the Daedric princes. They're so Lovecraftian. Very other. Even the word Daedra and Aedra being the planets and stars that represent good spirits and the benevolent gods, and it's Elvish. It translates to our ancestors. Daedra translates to not our ancestors. They are something else. What else do we even have in Hrothgar? I know we have that one side quest with the Hearthwife.
Yeah, I think that's pretty well all that's left here, which is a little awkward. So House of Troubles is actually fundamental to the Dunmer. Before there was even the split, where they became the Dunmer.
Oh, interesting.
They're considered the 4 pillars that cause trials and tribulations, apparently. And it's Mehrunes Dagon, Sheogorath, Malakath, and Morag Ball.
Yeah, I mean, those are some of the worst ones. For sure.
But there's like literal central locations around Morrowind that are considered connected to said Daedra lords. And it's thought that there are also cultists that worship them then.
I know, like, as far as their trinity of benevolent Daedric princes that they worshipped before Tribunal, I think it was Azura, Hell's one of the living tribunal that, like, we were the architects that made you leave Somerset. We were the architects that resulted in you inhabiting Morrowind, and obviously Azura is the one that cursed them, and like so on and so forth. Like, everything about their race is tied to those 3 princes.
Yeah. Including the curse.
I also saw a thing about Vivek that was like, I am a merciful, benevolent god, and also I'm going to levitate a giant meteor above the city, and if you stop loving me, I'll drop it.
Oh, that's fun. I don't remember that.
It's actually
that's fun.
the primary storyline of Morrowind, when we get to it, is that someone or something is stealing Vivek's divinity, and the capital of the expansion is, I forget what it's called, but Vivek City, like his main city, and you can see the meteor hanging above the city, and like it's like an exorcism.
He's threatening the city.
I think, you know how he's not a reliable narrator? He says that, like, it fell, and he's, like, keeping it suspended to protect everyone. But, like, you can't trust anything he says.
I suppose that's possible, but that's also not consistent with the character I've heard of.
Right. And then, like, when he disappears, when the tribunal gets wiped out, it crushes the city, and then Red Mountain explodes and decimates them, and then right, like, literally, like, directly after Red Mountain decimates Morrowind, the Argonians invade en masse and, like, basically genocide the Dunmer, which is why from that point Skyrim is only like 100 years later, like the game Skyrim, and like large swaths of the Dunmer are like refugees in Skyrim.
Oh, that actually makes sense now. I just assumed they always wanted to have a few traveling races and whatnot.
No, like by the point that we're at in the timeline with Skyrim, the Dark Elves are like a shell of their former selves.
Yeah, I know it's part of the game and their particular narrative choices for how they develop characters, but it's always a little frustrating that there's no, like, backstory to your character.
Yeah, it's just Bethesda's design philosophy is they want you to be whoever you want to be, and I don't think they've come up with a good way. Like, honestly, outside of like AI, I'm not sure how you could really customize your background. They could give you like a handful of options.
They could give you a couple options and then just the I choose nothing, you know, standard Elder Scrolls approach.
Yeah, because even like even Dragon Age has like Dragon Age has like kind of the generic like I was rich, I was poor kind of stuff.
Yeah, but like Fallout had that too, for depending on if your particular skill was high enough or if you picked particular perks.
I know they said Elder Scrolls 6 will definitely not be a voiced protagonist. They said it will absolutely, they will never do another voiced protagonist main
yeah, everyone hated it.
game. Yeah, because they did that in Fallout 4 and it was dreadful.
Yeah, I think they even like did an apology or something over it, because everybody was like, yeah, this is a great idea, and then, you know, 20 minutes into it, you're like, oh my god.
You can make one character.
Yeah.
That was one of my main problems.
As well.
That was kind of one of my main yeah, it was very scripted. That was also one of my main problems with Cyberpunk 2077. I really love that game, especially now that they've really updated it and fixed it a lot. It's probably one of the best modern games that we've gotten in like the last 5-10 years, as far as like an immersive single player RPG. But the fact that the characters are voiced, which I guess they kind of have to be, but you really can only make one female or one male character because so much personality is put into those voices.
The RPG that's getting a lot of praise is the Boulder Gate.
Yes.
I think we're on 3 or 4, because I've even been thinking about playing it.
Yeah.
Not that I've done their other series that's a different world but same kind of character design, world design, called Sins. It's something Sins.
There's a great view if you come down to this next landing.
Oh yeah, it's pretty amazing. But yeah, the whole thing is built around you becoming a god in the other game. So it's kind of fascinating, because the other gods are dying and you have to either ascend or the world will get destroyed.
The current Baldur's Gate, Sean was telling me, you find out fairly early on that you've been infected with, I think it's like a Mind Flayer worm, and you're basically going to become a Mind Flayer. And it's kind of like in Cyberpunk, where you find out fairly early on that like you're being overwritten by the memory engrams of someone else, and that's kind of the MacGuffin of the whole story. You can't really avoid it.
Interesting.
There's a funny YouTube short from a creator I like that does a lot of Elder Scrolls skits. He did one for Cyberpunk where it's like, alright, Night City, let's get it going. And then it's like, yeah, you have about 4 days left to live. And then it's just a montage of him at like various, like at like a club or like in a shootout, and he's just like absolutely stone-faced, completely like miserable, because like what's the point? You're just gonna die.
So you literally have a time limit going on?
No, it's a narrative game. There's not an actual time limit, but the main storyline quest is that you put a chip into your brain port that contains the memory of a terrorist from like 100 years ago, and he starts overriding your brain. And apparently, I haven't played the entire game, but Sean has. Sean played through the entire game multiple times, trying to avoid the ending where, because it has many branched endings, trying to avoid the ending where you become Johnny Silverhand, and it's like there's only a single ending where you can avoid it, and it's difficult. Or like there's like he was telling me at one point he got to an ending where he's on like a space station orbiting Earth, and they're like monitoring all his vitals and everything, and they keep telling him, they're like, we can make it so that you don't have to suffer anymore. We'll put you out of your misery. And he had to keep, like, declining it, and they kept trying to get him to do that as, like, the ending of the game.
So, I know you played a little bit of Inquisition.
Mm-hmm.
So you know about the hand thing. And the whole point of the story that they talk about is that the world's falling and you have the breach in the sky and all that bullshit.
Yep.
But the hilarious thing going on there is that what they don't mention is you kind of have to rush because you're dying.
Oh, jeez.
So he was able to stabilize it a little bit. Oh God, what is that gentleman's name? The elf.
Oh,
guy.
I know who you're talking about.
Solus.
Yeah, Zolus.
But yeah, he never mentions the fact of, yeah, by the way, I was able to stave off you dying, but this hand's going to rip you to pieces. Probably in a year or two.
Maybe that's why they trust you with so much power.
Oh, Solus literally just doesn't give a shit. That's why he trusts you. And the Seeker lady, she actually legitimately believes that Andraste saved you.
Oh, jeez.
That does not matter what you do, what you say, she will never come to another conclusion. Because even if you do discover how you really got saved and all that, and, you know, recover your lost memories, she will still say that it was all Andraste.
It's funny how religion works that way, isn't it?
Yeah. Because I love playing as elves in most games. So I play as an elf and I like tell everyone, no, Andraste did not save me. I know many things in this world, but that's one I'm sure of.
You are heading towards, I think, the gate that will end up taking us into Breton Lands.
I hadn't discovered the gate. I'm pretty sure it's a discoverable
yeah, it is.
area.
If you go through that, you'll be in Daggerfall Covenant territory.
Interesting. I don't think it ever really got discovered. Oh yeah, it did. Cool. It didn't.
Tell you what, if you go through it, you'll
did.
get another one. You might have to run forward like 10 feet.
Yep. Actually, there is a dungeon right next to this that has a sky shard.
Yeah, we'll come back to it at some point.
Alright. Coming back through.
Someday. I like that they've set up like a little traveling merchant right here at this gate.
Alright. So now comes the next question. Where do we go from here? I think we may literally have pretty much everything. We have the sky shards. I'm missing a few points of interest. So unless we want to fast travel over to that area and do that side quest, we pretty well are cleared.
What are you feeling like? We can always do that side quest individually if you're not feeling it.
Nah, let's go ahead. It's probably just a talky one.
Probably, because it seems like a little bit more of a mystery quest. So, where are you portaling to?
The way shrine
I
that's
just saw
right
you
next
do
to
it. I didn't have the marker up.
This could be fairly simple.
Oh man,
What?
I should have. It's gonna cost a fortune now. I'll wait. I was gonna. I forgot until I had already used it. I got that new recall animation that I can show you next time we portal somewhere.
Yeah, it charges back down pretty quickly.
I need to equip the proper quest. Blood price?
Yes.
Cool.
I have literally no reason for doing the giant camp first. It just... Why not?
So she's accusing his mom of killing him. Or like of getting him killed. And we did just find a poison blade here. But I'm not sure what the mom's motivation would be for that, because that makes her lose all her power. As like the clan mother.
Adventuring with you really keeps a girl on her toes.
Because we did kill him with the mushrooms, but that seemed to be kind of accepted by the clan as necessary.
He was already he was brain dead, I think is what they said. She's saying the mom worships Boetia, which is the Daedric prince of murder.
I just literally found Boethia's glory.
It's almost a little suspicious that it's just sat here, isn't it? It's not good. Like, almost like someone planted it.
It does seem a little too easy. They're either... But, you know, how mischievous and colluding are orcs
You're the
naturally.
one who helped Spencer find the snow truffle. Everyone calls him lazy, but they just don't know how to motivate him. It's nothing. Well, Stubbs went missing that night. When I caught her out in the snow, I heard someone singing. It sounded like Glagosh, but I didn't stay to listen. If the chief's hunt wife wants to sing alone at night, that's her business.
That sounds
So wait,
like
it's the hunt wife, not the mother?
Oh. So Galglash may have
That could make a little more
helped
sense.
him get injured.
She like hated her husband or something.
I should have been at my husband's side. He'd still be alive, and I'd still be his hunt wife. Oh? About what? That's my hunting blade. Chief Ogzor must have grabbed it on his way to the giant camp. Careful how you handle it. The blade has a paralyzing poison on the edge. His sword jangles. Lots of little buckles on the scabbard. But mine is quieter than a thief. I bet he didn't want to wake me the morning he was injured. Damned fool, trying to prove himself. Didn't want his hunt wife along to fight the giant.
That's actually kind of cool.
You
Which part?
rummaged through my tent? If you weren't bloodkin,
She was trying to imitate giants so that the mammoth wouldn't get
business.
spooked.
But it's a book of
Ooh, that
battle
is cool.
poetry. I read them occasionally.
Oh, they just arrived at Sydney, Nebraska.
Nice.
It's what they preach in Arsenium.
Never heard of it? I doubt I'll ever
Always
hear of it
wise to
again.
keep in touch with the king's politics. Better to know the old myths than sound like a bumpkin. We're a clan that travels the range. It gets boring at night. Sometimes we sing to keep up our spirits. Know that. I wasn't singing. I was chanting. I was out hunting when I nearly stumbled into a mammoth. They have poor night vision. If you chant the way the giants do, sometimes you can fool them into thinking you're not a threat. Well, I don't. What is the point of your questions? Yeah. The poor girl is still young. She can't accept that our husband fell in fair combat. There is no conspiracy.
Her hair is
Just a good
excessively
man who
red.
fell before his time.
I love it.
Tell her that.
I've noticed only the orcs and the Dunmer, and sometimes like genetically have hair that's like that fiery red color.
I think it's sometimes a setting on Nords too.
I was gonna say it might be Nords. Nords tend to go a little more like natural redhead.
Yeah, it's kind of a deep color, but it makes sense for orcs and Dunmer.
So, what did you find? What did she have to say for herself? I knew it. Her hands are red with my husband's blood. You see, a cultist chanced to her Daedric prince, just like the stories. I bet she was cavorting in the moonlight. Perhaps she was chanting to ensorcel Urkale the Cleaver. We've all seen her do that before. Of course she would say that. Followers of Boethia live only to deceive. It was Boethia worship, no matter what she says. Chief Ogzor deserves justice. Something must be done about Glogosh. This is enough evidence for me to demand the
I
blood
think
price
this
from
lady's
Glogosh.
just stuck in the anger part of grieving.
Yeah, thankfully I have a persuade option.
You're right. I was just so angry. If she had been there beside him, he'd still be alive. We'd still be a family. I'll speak with Glogosh. We both lost someone.
You remember the way we handled this clan was, the guy that ended up becoming the next clan chief is kind of an imbecile, but we decided he was the safer option because the girl that was his rival was like emotionally unstable.
Yeah.
I'm just processing that young wife and the hunt wife would both have to become his wives now. So that's probably contributing a bit to the anger.
I'm not sure it's a requirement. I know it's an option when a new clan chief takes over that the wives could go with them, but I'm not sure they have to. I don't know orc politics that well.
Neither do I. Alright, well that is pretty much Orsinium. Yeah, I still have that like recipe quest, but I'm in no hurry to do that. And then the only other thing I have is the daily, which we've already done.
Oh, do you want to portal to Eridon? We might be able to do a side quest or two, depending on how late you want to stay up.
1 second. What's up, Kyra? Salutations! It's our first chat of the night, and a first-time chatter. How are you? What are you up to tonight? I was gonna say, I would like if we could maybe finish Oridon before we decide whatever we're gonna do next in the game, just because
Totally.
it's the second zone of the starter zone, so like it's not designed to be very long, and when we finish it, it'll spit us out into the capital, which is a good start or stop point for whatever we want to do next.
Well, you know how you feel about spiders. I can already tell you the capital has giant hornets, and you may hear some heavy breathing on my line.
Lovely. Okay, before we teleport, let me teleport first so that you can witness my new recall animation. So let me pull up Oridon, like the opposite side of the world. It's actually one of the larger secondary starting zones. There's there's so much here. Where are we going?
Good question.
I have a quest marker. Find the Queen's entourage at Tanzawheel, which is right next to the Tanzawheel Way Shrine. And then I have another quest.
Location.
I have another quest called Silsalin Rescue. Talk to Elenwyn. Okay, I'm gonna pick Fairway Shrine, which is to the south of the island.
Alright.
Alright, here I go.
That is pretty cool. Give me just a second. I have a few more champion points to spend, and then I will travel to you with all haste.
Kyra said,
Enrage!
wrecking automatons. Automatons. I assume that's Helldivers too.
Alright, go to here, and now to, where are you? Ah, there we go.
Alright, so I'm gonna
Totally
go
go.
ahead and choose the quest Silsalin Rescue. The town of Silsalin is under attack by imposters disguised as First Oridon Marines. The townspeople suspect these men and women are part of a group called the Veiled Heritance, Sarador asked me to speak to Elenwen about helping in Silsalen. And we should be relatively close to that. It's a bit south of
Yeah, we're
us.
relatively close.
I'll hop on your mount when you're ready.
If I can ever. Damn high elf style.
Yes! Are we going to race?
This is a nice
They have to
change
put
of
a little-
scenery.
It is. It's a very beautiful area.
Yeah, all the high elf lands are.
I would prefer, you know, more like grim horror.
Right.
Would be more my. You know, we can't have everything.
It's that way.
Or we're. Oh.
Oh, you
by
threw it.
another
You already
quest.
threw us into the combat zone, but we need to accept the quest before. Otherwise, we're just killing people for the fun of it. Well, we accepted one of them, but like, we probably got that one in a city somewhere, and then they were like, "Go there and talk to her." Here she is. It's interesting. The
Yeah.
leader of the Aldmeri Dominion in Skyrim is named Elenwen.
The Veiled Heritance is behind this madness, I'm sure of it. Can't you smell the smoke? Silsalen is under attack. I barely got my father out alive. The cannon reeve, almost slain. These brutes may wear the uniforms of the First Oregon Marines, but they're imposters. They're agents of the Veiled Heritance, I'm sure of it. Teldur, my father's assistant, is trying to organize a defense. You look capable. Will you help Silsalen? We'll be waiting in the barn down the road. Good luck in there. There's not much time. What do you need to know? Elenwen, I run an inn here in town, but if you don't hurry up,
remember eating
they'll
the
have it
cherry.
burned to the ground.
Yet the cherry is gone, so I must have eaten it.
Are you having a
We were
milkshake?
expecting an attachment from the
I am
First
indeed.
Oregon Marines to prepare for the Queen's visit. Then this lot arrived and started killing and burning. We were readying for a celebration, not a slaughter. Why would the Queen send men to attack?
I'm quite
the
fond of
subjects?
maraschino
It
cherries.
makes
I
no
actually
sense.
found a great
But it
Toll
would
House
be just
recipe.
the sort of
I literally
news
chopped
the
up
Veiled
maraschino
Heritance
cherries
used to
instead of
undermine her.
chocolate to put into them. Ah, such delish.
Kyra said, "Switch to Fallout New Vegas." Good choice. I love Fallout.
Ooh. Yeah, Fallout New Vegas is such a good story. There's some killer mods for that too. My favorite's Fallout New California.
You know, it's funny. Fallout 4 is. I mean, obviously, all the Fallout games have been around a long time, but as far as like mods, there had been a mod, an actual like a professional dev team making. They said the most extensive mod ever made for Fallout 4. It was called Fallout London, and it was basically
London, yeah.
basically a sequel size expansion. And then not that long ago, literally like days before they were going to release it, Bethesda released a quote-unquote next-gen update for Fallout 4 and Skyrim, and the dev team said they basically screwed them because it broke every aspect of the mod.
Oh, I think they planned that on purpose because
Yeah.
the mod had
Grab that
been
bucket from
being
the well and
funded
put
for
out
a
the
really long
fires.
time.
If you find any villagers, tell
So-
them
They're like
to prepare
surprisingly
until it's
hostile
safe.
to modders,
What are you waiting for?
which is weird
Move
because
like you have a
Bethesda
purpose.
games are like
Refuse to
they
answer
live
an
on
outsider's
their
pointless
mods.
questions for one. I'll catch up with.
Yeah, but the fact that the fans were more excited about the mod than they were the next game that was being made
well,
was, I think
It's-
from their perspective, unforgivable.
you know, it's not our fault that they make like one game every 15 years. Like, when did Skyrim come out? It's got to be like 2011,
Yeah.
over 10 years ago.
You were amazing.
Yep, there are people that complain about the big gap between Elder Scrolls Morrowind and Oblivion, and that Oblivion, the Skyrim, was quite a few years, and I think it's 3 to 4 times that now.
Yeah, it's getting worse and worse for every studio is getting worse. Movies are the same way, unless it's something like the MCU, which even the MCU's toned down a lot. They used to do like 4 movies a year.
People stop going to all of them.
Yeah,
like
people get fatigued. Well, I will say, Elder Scrolls 6 supposedly comes out next year, and it's probably my most anticipated game. I'm very excited for it. Nothing is actually confirmed at all, which is weird. Like, there haven't been any leaks or anything, but everyone's best guess is that it will probably be a fairly direct sequel chronologically to Skyrim, and that it will be set in the Redguard lands. What's up, Prickly? Oh my gosh. I have like multiple chats I have to read. Bethesda is just another bully corporation, especially now that they're owned by Microsoft. Oversaturation, yeah. Yeah, that's like I saw the MCU announce they're only making 2 TV series a year now, and it was like, that's still too much.
We'll be a long time in rebuilding, but your bravery won't be forgotten.
Some Elder Scrolls Hammerfell in my life. It's gonna be so good because Hammerfell. Actually, hang on. I can pull it up right here. Zoom out of mine. Look, this is. Wait, where is it? This is Hammerfell. That's the Alakir Desert, and then like this whole section is Hammerfell. This is Skyrim right here. It's about the same size as Skyrim, but Hammerfell. Sheila, you okay? You're making a lot of background noise.
Oh yeah, I decided if you were gonna do a lecture, I was gonna have one of my tacos. Sorry.
Oh, maybe mute while you eat a taco, because you sound a little bit like you're going through a tornado. But Hammerfell, if it's the next game, it's gonna have all these islands along the coast because Hammerfell is notorious for like pirates and stuff. They could have like nautical aspects to the game as far as boats or something. The potential is extreme.
Hanulan of the 1st Oridon Marines at your service.
Wow, look at this guy's armor.
Did it finally get confirmed that it's going to be Hammerfell and not elsewhere?
I can tell you that much.
We saw some screenshots that were definitely desert, but
right.
they were kind of bouncing between those 2 options.
Nothing is confirmed. Nothing is confirmed, but they've explored elsewhere extensively in ESO, and they have not done that for Hammerfell, which is why people think it might be Hammerfell. My only like concern for Elder Scrolls 6 is how bad Starfield was. I really don't want them to make another game that bad.
Yeah, I think they use AI in a really bad application.
Yeah. Also, like that's their first new IP in forever, and it was just kind of a stupid IP. Citrus says he loved Starfield. Yeah, but you've never really played a lot of Bethesda games, so your experience level is a bit more limited compared to something like some of their masterpieces. I think it will be a lot better in like 3 or 4 years when it hits really high saturation with modding. Like I saw a video going around social media where someone put like 100 mod lists together that completely overturned Starfield into an open world Star Wars game. And that looked pretty cool.
Oh, that's great. Oh, speaking of, if you ever do decide to buy Morrowind, there's a really great mod for it that basically changes it to Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh, that's fun.
Only you're a different member of the Ebon Hawk, who you could be a Jedi that was with her, or you could be just another of the mercenaries.
Yeah.
And you get the whole open world thing. So, kind of happening concurrently with the actual plot of the game, but in its own open worldly thing. It's kind of fun.
Citrus said, I played Elder Scrolls and most of the Fallout games. Well, I'm glad you liked Starfield. I'm glad it didn't, because you bought it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Most people don't share your opinion, but all that really matters is that you enjoyed it. Like, we all have things that are more like guilty pleasures. And, like, video games are an art form, so they're completely subjective, like any art. I need to enter a cellar.
Yes, we do. Alright. Thank you for your patience. That was a delicious taco.
I'm glad you enjoyed your taco. It doesn't seem like they were like so thankful for us for saving the town. It doesn't seem like there's much left.
I've been waiting to try the spell out.
I mean, they just gotta kill off all the inheritance first.
I wonder to what extent having your village burned down is more of an inconvenience to a race that lives like centuries and centuries.
I don't know, I think it depends on how much damage they do.
Or your station in life, right? Imagine living 700 years but being poor. Like, 700 years of sweeping stables is not a good thing.
I don't know if you've noticed, but when we were in Somerset, it seemed like most of the menial jobs were other races that they shipped in.
Yep. Because there are things they consider below Almer.
Free me.
Thank the eight. Quickly, untie us.
And just keep in mind as you're
Captain
looking at this character,
Tendil of
people,
the First
he
Oridon
does not have
Marines.
jaundice.
We were sent
He
here
is a
at the
high
behest of
Yes,
Her Royal
his
Majesty
golden
Queen
skin.
Irene. We walked into a trap. Agents of the Veiled Heritance stripped us of our uniforms and gear and left us here to burn.
We have a stash at the farm near the edge of town. Return them to us. I'll personally see
I
that
think we're
every
gonna
last
have
imposter
another
dies
assassination attempt.
screaming for mercy.
Thank you. I'll untie the rest. You get that gear first.
I'm getting your game audio through your mic.
That's weird. You
Yeah.
shouldn't.
I only heard it while Captain Tyndale was talking.
Well, he was a very strong orator. That could be why.
It's possible, because noise suppression doesn't work on voices.
Could also be because Kiara keeps nuzzling the mic.
Yeah, that's probably not helping.
You hadn't complained yet, and there's only so much yelling at that child I could do with a straight conscience.
Hasn't been bad yet.
Oh, I was just getting started.
Oh, she walked off. She doesn't usually do cutesy stuff like that for very long. She's much more of a murderer hunter than she is a lover. But I love her anyways. I'm her human and she's my kid. I mean, they keep trying to
I'm
Oh,
gonna show up.
I just remembered why they keep trying to assassinate her.
Because she's so progressive.
Yeah, but isn't it a little interesting that they seem to always know all of her movements?
Oh, like there's someone on the inside? Well, the last time we were here, we killed off an assassination attempt that was all insiders.
Yep.
Kairos says, speculation for Hammerfell, Elder Scrolls 6. I just want to finish the war against the Aldmeri Dominion. I want to crash my ship on their shores and Fusroda, the nearest elf. I think the conclusion, or at least the next part of the Aldmeri Dominion, will be like the primary narrative of the next. Like, assuming it's not a huge time jump and it is a direct sequel to Skyrim, I think the Aldmeri Dominion has to be the primary mover of the plot in the next game.
I need help.
Any luck?
We'll gear up and patch our wounds. In the meantime,
Makes it hard to
find
play a
out
high
this
elf though.
conspiracy.
Like I always wanted to
I'll
play a
send
high
one of
elf
my
in
best men
Skyrim.
along with you to help loosen some
There's a lot
tongues.
of
Stars
mental
guide your
hurdles
steps.
to make that make sense.
Well, you're not a very good high elf.
No, you just
Or at
have
least the
to.
non-racist one.
You have to not be loyal to your own people.
Thank the eight I found you. Tell Dor.
Not all high elves are racist, right? Most of them. Most of them are.
Tell Dor asked Canon Reeve Valani.
Can they really help it? They're like 8 feet tall. They look like carved marble statues. They live way longer. They're resistant to all disease. They're way better at magic. Everyone important that's ever existed was a high elf.
I know we need to go do a raid on that manor, but we're also right next to a world boss.
Oh heck yeah, let's do a world boss. Assuming we can. I don't have questions actually.
It's a starting area. We should be okay.
And we have
I can always be surprised.
we have these Ordon Marines with us.
Oh, they'll leave.
Do you think they will if we get too far?
Yeah, do you think then we should actually go do the other thing first?
No, because when we get closer back to their zone, they'll reappear. Or they should. I've had it happen before.
It depends on the quest. I've had to literally go pick the quest up again.
Oh, he just had dialogue. So. No big deal. Other side of this wall.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the entrance is this way.
The thing about the Aldmeri Dominion, because like we're Aldmeri Dominion right now, for us, but we're the first Aldmeri Dominion. The Thalmor technically exist at this point, but they're very much like a fringe group. By the point of Skyrim, which is about 1100 years after this game, the Thalmor they've become the ruling body of the third Aldmeri Dominion. And the Thalmor are the part of the High Elf culture that are like extremists. They're the ones that believe in elven supremacy and like exterminating all the lesser races. Actually, their real plot is to destroy Tamriel, but that's like too much to get into for one stream.
I thought that was the boss summoning back in, and it was them getting on their horse.
That's the person that killed the boss.
Yeah. That'll come back. Just, it'll take a little while. Are you still using the sword of that High King of,
High King Sviargrim.
Still using his sword?
Yeah, he was a king. It's a king's sword.
Kingmaker. King Slayer.
Yeah, we definitely killed him. He was a vampire, though. He was a monster. By the time we killed him, he was no longer the man he once was. He had betrayed his people, his daughter, and
killed his own wife.
Killed his own wife, yeah.
His wife was more popular than he was.
Yeah, and he was just a bad king. He was a monster. And we kill monsters. Like, professionally. That's our job. Well... looks like it's 3 people? Like it's a trio of bosses?
I think these are the people that were sent to kill it.
Oh.
We'll see. Quinella. Oh, I think you're right. I see at least 2.
Well, because these are dead bodies. Like, they have health bars.
Yeah. Looks like Nerando, and, there's one other.
Quindia.
Quindia.
I appreciate the cherry blossom trees.
They're pretty.
Why are there skeletons over there? There's skeletons all over.
It's a graveyard.
Doesn't look like a graveyard.
It's clearly, you know. Skeletons go walking around in any graveyard.
Just like real life.
Oh my. Welcome to the world of epic fantasy.
Definitely a sunnier place than the far northlands we've been in for so long.
Yeah, we're pretty far south. I would assume this must be close to the equator because everything is very tropical.
Mm-hmm. Somerset even more
Very
so.
lush.
All those beaches.
That would be really way out in left field, but the Red Guard came from a location before Tamriel.
Right.
So that would almost make a really cool Elder Scrolls game too.
They came
you
from
literally
Yakuta, but it
involved-
doesn't exist anymore.
What? It fell into the sea? Like...
So, you know how, like, Sai Sihan is like a sword saint? And
Yes.
the ancient Yakutans could summon their soul and the spirit, like, in the form of a sword? They called them sword
Yes.
saints. One of their sword saints was so deadly that he created a technique with his soul sword where he could split atoms. And when he achieved it, the atomic explosions destroyed Yakuta.
Awesome.
It's pretty cool.
Oops.
What's really interesting about the Red Guard is there are two variants of Red Guard.
There are 3 of them.
Oh yeah, these are definitely Necromancers. Oh, they have so much health. There are 2 variants of Red Guards. The Red Guards delineate between the nobility, who are descended from the Sword Saints, kind of like the royal blood, and then the commoners. And only Red Guards that still have the bloodlines of the original Yakutan royalty potentially still have the ability to summon their soul swords. Kara said, "You're telling me that Red Guards are the elder equivalent of Numenor? Are Red Guards Numenorians?" Well, a lot of races come from outside of Tamriel. According to the High Elves, they're not from Tamriel. All humans other than Red Guards came from Skyrim, but before that they came from a northern continent called Atmora. Right? The Argonians are native, and the Khajiit are native, and the Wood Elves might be native, if you consider them beast folk. Otherwise, the Dunmer are descended from the High Elves. The High Elves, like I said, are not from here, and none of the humans are from here. So... the Red Guard's Yakuta it's actually really cool. The little that we know about it is basically like Afro samurai culture. Like they were basically black samurais. And then obviously in Tamriel they're a little bit more like Persian culture. That was a good fight.
Yeah, lots of fun. Lots of death and murder. Blood for the blood god.
Skulls for the skull throne.
Did I tell you my very first semester teaching I was living with Ian, and he was going through one of the campaigns for, I think, an RTS version of Warhammer.
Dawn of War.
And he literally screamed in the background, "Skulls for the skull blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne."
It gets to you after a while.
And luckily my student knew about Warhammer, and they weren't concerned of like a cult or whatever.
This was a while ago, like at least a year ago, I played a game, like a proper tabletop game of Warhammer, with a player that was playing World Eaters, and he had, at the time, the brand new Angron, Demon Primarch Angron model. And when he planted it on the table, without planning it, we both collectively screamed "Blood for the Blood God." And then like both kind of stared at, we both kind of just stared at each other for a minute, and there was like a silent bond was made.
Oh my goodness.
I think I've lost you. But I'm heading towards the manor.
I'm staying here till Still Sailing is safe again.
I'm sorry, I think the person I thought was you was another player.
I thought you were apologizing for coughing.
I can't apologize for that. There will be more.
If you were sorry, it wouldn't keep happening. My Auradon Marine just showed up again, so I think we're good on that front.
Yeah, I'm trying to... Ooh, birch. Actually looks a lot like birch.
That's definitely, like, you know, I play Elder Scrolls games so that I can harvest birchwood. That's the main reason.
I think I caught a touch of judgment. You know, I never talk about all of your clothing stuff.
No, I'm not. I'm literally harvesting some ashwood as we speak.
Okay, I thought this was judgment towards me, and I'm like, you know, even if I'm actually worried about you, I try not to say anything.
Kairos said everybody needs a hobby in their hobby. Right?
Yeah, Dad's first time watching me play Minecraft for a length of time, and he asked if I wanted to know about all the holes he needed dug in the yard.
Jeez.
Like, no.
There's a Sky Shard and a Delve around here.
Yeah.
Although I think the Sky Shard is above us.
It's a master, though. Do you want me to do it?
Well, this one is yours by rights, because I took the last one. Well, actually, the last one was empty. But I don't think I can get a master. My Ledger main skill is not very high.
It doesn't affect it at all.
Are there no passives or anything that make it easier?
Nope. It is what it is.
That's lame. I'm not great at the lockpicking to begin with.
It's not one of their easier attempts at lockpicking. They've done many iterations. This is not one of their finest.
The Cannon Reef betrayed us. Betrayed us all.
I like his eyes.
You don't see a lot of high elves with like blue eyes. The only one I've seen is Queen Irene has crystal blue eyes.
Didn't want to believe.
His are much more of a seafoam blue. It's pretty. Those are the color Bubba's eyes were.
Brought him here.
Mom's cat.
His men were waiting.
May he rest in peace.
F's and chats for Bubba the cat.
He was a handsome boy.
I got enough.
Often happens with cats. The best cats just show up and let you know that you are the new family member. You need to take care of them.
It looks like the Sky Shard is on the 3rd floor potentially.
must return to my squad.
Took life.
I'm very satisfied that I killed him.
Oh, there's a sky shard. Hello. I still like the original reason this game said we could absorb sky shards before it like kind of retconned the main story a little bit, which was that because we don't have a soul, we're like absorbing the ethereus of the sky shard to like keep us going without a soul.
Keep us anchored in this plane and not get dragged back to our hell, essentially.
Cold Harbor, I'd assume. Is Ellenwind up there?
I don't know. I can't jump over, so I'm gonna have to walk.
Because now my marker says to go back in there, I think. Yes, it does. I'm gonna have to cut my way through the manor again. Oh no. She's right here at the entrance.
You got to her before I did.
Your valiant rescue of the first Auridon Marines was well timed.
It's not every day I get
They've
called
driven off
valiant.
The last of the imposters. What
Me
news
too.
of the traitor Teldor? Was Canon Reeve
I get called Abomination more often.
Wow, I don't know about that. I get called Mr.
Necromancer.
Mostly.
My father was a traitor to the
I
crown?
might play a lot of
Orchestrated an assault on
necromancers
his
and
own
witches.
people? Why?
There's a
Why
whole
would you
group
do
of
this,
witches
Father?
in the Conquest of Elysium that you literally, your goal is to summon the old gods back into the world.
I thought you were gonna say there's a whole group of witches and then like something something in real life, and I was like, good for you.
No, there's for almost certainly.
Shadow's just casually in a coven as we speak. That would make you my coolest friend.
Good to know where your approval is. That you, Curtis, may or may not have dated one in the past.
Yeah. Well, we've all made mistakes in the heat of passion.
Honestly, that increased my, opinion of you a good bit, actually. Especially when you tried to get her to curse that one lady that was causing so much trouble. Well done!
Oh.
You're a child with no power. You're attempting to do something about it, I approve.
Just a little agency in your own life. What do we have here? Nice little camp. Now this is a proper camp. Look at this little high elf camp compared to the Reach camps.
Oh, Lord.
This is how you do a camp.
They know how to make a proper camp.
Oh, there's a chest there, but that other player just got it. Danielle the Radcliffe. What a name.
Seriously?
Yeah. She's a wizard.
I have so many feelings. None of them are positive though, so I'll keep them to myself. Have we not been to Vocal Guard? I thought that's where we started.
Let me look. I think Vocal Guard will be the main quest point.
No.
We've definitely traveled there because
Yeah.
that's where we got the assassin personality. And it's also how we ended up accidentally proccing the main Mollog Ball quest line.
Okay.
Or maybe that
I
was
know where
Anvil.
there-
I don't know.
Yeah, we got that from the Gold Coast, the assassin's personality. Okay.
I have Repentant Sun or Two Tanzil Wheel, which is the main story.
Yeah. Oh, wait. I found something of import. Thieves' Trove.
How did you see that?
I have eyes like a hawk.
Oh, guess so. What's the quote from the landlord in Spider-Man 2? I have eyes like a hawk. and ears like a rat.
Rats don't hear that much through their ears. It's
Oh,
through the rest of their nervous system and
I
tail.
think it was just a very strange thing for a person to say.
Yeah. There were so many strange things that were said in some of those movies.
Bruce Campbell being the French waiter, and then going, "I am French," like twice.
I had some really painful moments through that movie. Many of those movies, in fact.
Poor Wolf.
I felt really different about Avengers when I figured out, like, every favorite line of mine was coming from characters that were improvising. They weren't even doing what was written.
Well, most of Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark is ad-libbed.
Yeah, it's totally ad-libbed.
For like the entire 10 years of his tenure.
Just looks like a little something.
It is. What is it, like a merchant?
Event merchant.
Oh my gosh. Look at this guy's title.
What? Oh! Yeah, they happen.
He's one of the people.
He's only 1,000? That's pretty impressive.
I don't know that
Though
PvP
honestly,
makes a difference.
If we were ever to come up with 1 or 2 more people, we would have enough to get Emperor over a few weekends.
This guy is like that Fender meme. You know, I was God once.
Oh.
We are in the interregnum, historically, which is a point also known as the Time of Troubles, where there was really no emperor on the Ruby Throne for a good while, until I want to say Tiber Septim starts the Septim dynasty at some point. Well,
Tiber Septim was the last of his line. There were several before him.
No, Tiber was the first, because Martin comes up. Martin's the last.
Yeah, Martin is the last. Technically, he never really became emperor. He never got a coronation.
Because Tiber was originally, he was a Nord. His name was Talos. And then he was renamed Tiber so that he sounded imperial. The last proper dynasty we had would have been, at this point, I believe, the Elysian Empire. And then
had never figured out
after that there was
Tiber Septim's the one that they think is Talos and became a god.
Right. Yeah, Talos is Tiber Septim. They're the same person.
He was a pretty impressive guy, but I don't think he was a god. Hey, your chest.
Oh, there it is.
And it's an intermediate. You could definitely do that.
Don't patronize me.
Sorry.
Struggling.
I'm so used to gaming with Ian, and condescension is just part of our communication.
Right. I got it. It didn't really... They need to kind of... The chests have been a little meager lately. I feel like...
Yeah, one of our friends actually joked once that when we're actually in a big group together, he's like, you know, I could tell that you were reared on the, oh god, what are the games called? MechWarriors. He's like, you sound like them.
Oh.
MechWarrior Sergeants.
Where are we headed?
To this area to get more quests.
More quests? We already have 2.
Side quests. Yeah. I wanted to clear the southern area as we creeped up to do the next main quest.
Oh, that makes sense.
I need help. They came from nowhere. By boat, maybe. Never been this far inland. Captain Saranya... Maormer pirates. They've taken South Beacon. My captain, my crew, all captured. They took control of the lighthouse. This is bad. With South Beacon as a staging area, they can raid the Somerset Isles at will. I can make it back to the Valhall Guard. You have to find Captain Saranya. She'll know what to do. She's a prisoner in the Malm
That looks
camp
like
down
it's
on the
the
beach.
one.
Please, hurry.
Let's look at the beacon back.
Is that the only side quest here? Rescue this lady?
Alibi. Yes. I think so. Though there's a island out here in the middle of nowhere, as well as Malmor invasion camp to our south.
There's also
sounds
not far
promising.
from us the first Dark Anchor that I've seen in so long. It's not
I've been
active,
doing
but
dirt. Keep your ears open.
yep.
It's probably gonna get active at some point. My character's knees would be shot if this was like a real world. Much as I
Superhero
jump off
landing is so
cliffs.
cool, but so bad for your knees.
I think they literally make jokes about that on The Boys.
Deadpool definitely did. Of course, as soon as we jumped, it goes active. Can we get to it?
Lever on! Lever on! Or are you going to...
Yeah. It's a radial menu, and it cancels when you should
think
sprint.
it's-
Just sprint.
I am sprinting.
Oh, are you? I was like, I didn't know what our max speed would be.
I never knew Tamriel could look like this.
We will make it.
Oh, yeah, it's not hard.
Don't underestimate us.
Disgusting Daedra.
Running around throwing my scythe, killing. If only the scythe could be like my main weapon, I would be so much happier. It doesn't even need to be practical.
There's a Ultramarine successor chapter called the Scythes of the Emperor, and they have kind of a Grim Reaper / Scythe
And it didn't even,
image going
even though I
on.
did my ult,
May your soul
I didn't do enough damage on that thing to loot it.
It's amazing!
My body is willing, but my flesh is weak. Oh, see, there's another character that's in that lovely armor that's not hardly even close. Yeah, I'm judging.
Oh,
Alright.
exciting. I got a shield.
We got some points for it, though.
Yeah.
Okay, now we need to go rescue the good captain. Which I would be so much happier if it was Jack Sparrow.
If it was Jack Sparrow, we wouldn't have to rescue him.
No, he needed rescued an awful lot.
We'd like get to the point where we were about to rescue him, and then he'd like appear behind us and be like, "Who are we rescuing?"
Yeah, that's generally how that goes. No, he's gonna eventually ask us to rescue people because there's people chained up.
Yeah, his crew.
So the High Elves are being enslaved for once. I approve of this message.
This is not the way of things. You know what? The Dark Elves are the ones who are famous for slaving.
They are. Would it be infamous? But
Yeah,
I suppose you could
yeah.
still call it famous.
Well met, stranger. As you may have noticed, I'm not at liberty to
Oh, she's
stand
very
and greet
calm.
you properly. They mean to invade Volkelgard. Their plan is to use the lighthouse at South Beacon to communicate
Like how
with their
chill she
fleet.
is.
We need to stop them.
She's just incredibly
You have more
calm
important
about
things to
all
attend to?
this.
Obviously,
Don't
she
answer.
hasn't been
Back to
tortured yet.
Torkel. 3 of my scouts are being held captive. Free
Somehow
them
I
and
think
have
they
them
would be
meet me
just
at
as
Skylight
calm.
Beach. I'll scout the
Probably.
lighthouse
She
and
must
find
be
a way to
older than
get
she
No, I-
looks.
At some point, it becomes like a Cenobite level of calm, where it's like, I'm getting
Ugh.
very worried about you.
Yeah, you made it creepy.
Oh my.
Let me go.
I don't know who's.
Ember is
Xander.
pulling things.
And we have another player pulling things.
Well, we are in a starting zone now.
Pleased to meet you, I'm sure.
There's so many more people.
These
I missed my other
damnable Maormer
zones.
are not the most the captain's wish.
We'll get back to it. Probably a good thing we have no plans to play Gold Coast on release.
Oh my god, can you imagine? I'm the same way with like movie theaters. A
expect to
full
see a
movie
friendly
theater
face.
is like a source
Get
of
me out.
trauma
Never
for me
better.
as an introvert.
I can't think of the last really excellent movie theater experience I had. I think was Avengers Infinity War.
Watching Deadpool the original with my mom was my last good.
Because Infinity War, like, those movies were made to be watched with a crowd. And like the point where people, like, the heroes are dying by the dozens, and like the entire movie theater is like gasping in horror. Like when Thanos actually snaps his fingers. I remember the movie theater was like completely silent.
Yeah, I don't think it's what they were expecting, but I think it's kind of like if you've ever seen Naruto, the pain arc, where it's like, yep, we're gonna kill everybody off and then bring them back. You know, that's what we do.
Kyra said A24's Civil War was mine. I'm not sure which one that is.
Civil War,
The
yeah.
lighthouse keeper was spared. I don't think
I don't
he
remember.
considers
Is
him a
Civil
threat.
War the one
He says the Maormer are using the lighthouse
where
beacon to
Captain
send messages to their
America's
ships.
comrade
We can't wait for
gets
reinforcements. We
indoctrinated
need to
into
take
Russia,
action.
or
Oh.
Civil War the one where
Yeah, he-
Robert Downey Jr. was fighting with another hero?
Both.
I don't remember.
But he's talking about the hypothetical Civil War in America movie. I remember seeing the trailers for that, but I didn't want to watch that. It looked a little too close to home to me. Kind of like a Purge
Yeah.
movie. It's a little too realistic, a little too
The
easy to
lighthouse is
imagine.
solid stone, but even stone can burn.
Yeah,
with the right
that's how I
mixture of
was with the
kindle pitch and fire
Handmaiden's
salts.
Tale.
Tildur
Oh, the
can tell you
show?
where to
I was-
find the necessary ingredients.
Yeah, I was fine for
Use
the
this
first
glass
couple
wine.
seasons,
Tildur
but
says
once we
you
got
haven't
into the
much time.
political turmoil
You
of
need
late,
fire
I'm like, yeah, this is like people's dream of a paradise nation for half of our country, so I'm, ew.
I never watched the show because I read the book extensively, and
I did too.
knowing how the book ends, I just couldn't see how they could make like 3 or 4 seasons out of the show without totally ruining the premise of the ending. Because the ending is so ambiguous, I loved it.
Yeah, it definitely changed some things. Definitely. But it built out the world, so I think it was a lot more on, like, the horror of the world than...
It's active
Oh,
again.
guess what?
You want to go hit it again?
I mean, we could.
That's
yeah.
so cool to watch from a distance. Everybody around us just took off in that direction.
Oh, I guess this is shallow. Alright. Clamber aboard.
I'm on.
Scarab speed!
The Dark Anchors definitely pop faster than most zones events.
It means there's people literally running it. Is what's going on.
Oh, it's okay. I got you. I just wish they were bigger. Like having played other zone events, the actual Dark Anchor itself feels like such a small event.
Yeah, especially for the amount of people.
Right.
If only we could get this many people on a storm.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Because the Hero Storms are basically like we never did finish them. Like most of them.
And they're undoable unless you have like at least 4 or 5 people. We've tried it with 3 and it did not work.
But Kairos, was it good? Did you like it? The Civil War movie? There's so many people here, I'm not even hitting anything.
I admire your tenacity, mortals.
That's a lot of people.
Only we could get this many people. Alright, clamber back aboard.
Where are you? Oh, I see you.
Take your time.
Too many people.
Let's ride.
Alright, I'm gonna try to direct line us to this other spot we're supposed to go to get the fire salts.
Hmm?
If we don't get the fire salts first, then we have to like hit the same area twice.
Okay, Kairos said it was more of a spectacle flick. It wasn't a delve into like why the Civil War happened, although it's alluded to. The videography is pretty good though. Yeah, Kairos, like for everyone in chat and like also for Shadow, Kairos, well, he's in the military now, but he was a film director. I believe he worked in news, but he's like an actual director. So like, he said in some ways it kind of ruined movies for him. But on the other hand, he's really good at like analyzing and appreciating well-made movies. He said it did, yeah. That's the same thing with like going to school for writing. In some ways, kind of ruins reading for you, because you end up hyper-analyzing everything you read, even when you don't want to.
It happens for movies too.
Yeah.
Hyper-analyzing the plot or just
The plot, the dialogue. Yeah. It's kind of rough. And then like, because you start like, you've learned all the archetypes, and like all of the cliches. And you start seeing them everywhere.
Your ally is standing on the bar.
Oh, she's doing the same thing for me. She's a wild child.
That's so hilarious. It's like, oh my gosh, there's an enemy. Oh wait, it's just your companion.
It's just Ember. Hands up, don't shoot.
I watched the last couple trailers for the Acolyte that's supposed to start dropping episodes. It actually looks like it's going to be pretty good. If the trailers are...
I have no emotional energy left for Star Wars. I don't feel anything when I see Star Wars games or trailers anymore. I don't even feel bitterness anymore. There's nothing left.
Just heartbreak.
No, not even heartbreak, just nothing. They get no more of my energy. Kyra said same, complete apathy, yep. Ooh, this is a fun little cave.
Yeah, they're dumping all this money into the new movie that Rey is supposed to be in, and I'm like, am I gonna watch it? No.
I'll probably watch it, just because I like self-harming.
Even if they say it's good, I'm not sure I'm gonna watch it. It's just, they were all so bad.
I just like, you remember like the core problem with those movies was that the writers were not connected and there was no plot for the whole trilogy. So I thought maybe they had like learned from that, but then I just saw a quote from her where she was like, someone was like, "Do you think they should put Finn in your new movie?" And she was like, "That seems like something we could do." And I'm like, if you haven't even made that distinction yet, like, what are you doing with this movie?
To make Tildur's fire flask?
Tucker, why are you trying to steal my Taco Bell?
Go from the lighthouse and discovered how they get past the ward on the door. The Maormer carry a magical rune that dispels the ward long enough to gain entry. Steal a rune from one of their patrols near the lighthouse. Use it to dispel the ward, and you're in. You need to hurry. They're nearly ready to signal their fleet.
Well, that actually is kind of cool armor. Actually, no, it's the seducer costume.
And you can't sprout wings and fly away.
It's not the direct seducer armor that she was wearing. It's
back to the rendezvous point at Skylight Beach.
a different one.
Are you talking about this character, Captain Siranya?
No. She already left. There was a dark elf.
Oh.
She looked really cool.
You know, this guy right here, Kel Doran, all he's wearing is the basic Breton armor. It's basic Breton medium armor. He hasn't even recolored it, but it just looks really good.
Sometimes lazy is better.
It's just like really well-designed classic leather armor. It kind of looks like The Witcher's armor.
A little bit.
Don't mess with a street
I was sad that they were going to stop that show too.
Yeah. But they can't just stop it. They have to recast him and ruin it, and then they'll cancel it.
As long as that author doesn't get any money out of it, which he can't.
Kairos probably talking about, when we were talking about the sequels, having like no idea what they were doing as they did them, says, shooting on the fly is an amateur technique, which is fine for film students that are starting out, but Lucasfilms are playing with millions. Yeah.
Well, that kind of just feeling your way through works if you're doing one-off stories. It doesn't so much work when you're trying to interconnect things. There was literally a short story that we had to read, and it was the one I did my midterm on, that was called Can This Story Be Saved? And I keep going back to the Star Wars debacle.
I don't think so. I don't, because like, I don't actually know which is worse. Is it The Last Jedi? Because that entire movie is an exercise in nihilism? Or is it the third one, where the core plot revolves around Poe going, somehow the Emperor has returned, and then as the audience you're just supposed to go, okay, and then watch the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Ooh, a giant snake.
So the short story wasn't a article written about it. It was literally two characters, two authors that wrote in the same story. A dad and a son arguing about how they were going to go forward with a plot and finish something.
See that? The lighthouse beacon exploded.
I see it.
All right.
The tower is on fire.
How did this happen?
This invasion is over.
But yeah, I think that's kind of, it summarized like the feeling of those three Star Wars movies, except no one actually sat down and talked.
They'll turn around.
Or rather they did.
Swimming back to Piandini.
Whoever wrote out the plan actually sat down with the second person who hated the idea and threw it all out and did his own thing. And at that point, they were just effed.
By this time tomorrow,
when it's something like Star Wars and it's a trilogy, it needs to not be completely in the hands of individual directors. There needs to be more oversight than that, because it's not just about making a good movie, it's about the respect for the audience that treasures something that's existed for 40 years, and the expectation that you're not going to ruin it.
Or you're gonna get a writer that says that there's no content written about this.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no content. It's only like 5 or 8 billion words have been written.
You know she's still in charge, Kathleen Kennedy. She's still the head executive of this film. That's like more proof you ever needed it that like once you get to like that level of administration, you can't really fail.
Yeah, they just keep giving her more money.
Yeah. It's called failing upwards. Sigil portal.
Oh!
Yep. Watch out for this imp. There's an imp here. There was. He's dead now.
He's adorable.
He's...
It's so fast, it's hard to control at this point.
Well, what kills me is every time there's like a slight delay between when I toggle the get on button and then she gets on, and I'm always able to hit it, but then you move before the delay syncs. Wabi has zoomies.
Aww.
He wants me to
being
play with him.
cute?
Yeah, he's got big bulgy eyes.
Yeah, they get that way. Especially when they want cuddles.
Are we heading for Find the Queen's Entourage at Tanzel Wheel?
Yep, that's
Cool.
where I'm going.
Back to the main story.
I will say I do like having the faster steeds. It's just if you're trying to do fine point turns, it's problematic. Oh, this is our first time with the prince. The Dick.
Lovely.
You look familiar.
This is the guy who's
Have we
actually
met
the
before?
top trader. We just don't have proof yet.
Ah, Volkelgard, of course. Welcome to
Do you know that from
Tanzelville.
playing it, or did
Perhaps you'll
I?
get through
No, I
something?
think we speculated. Because he's a jerk. And he was supposed to be king.
I'm glad
He was
you're
actually
here.
already, I think, in the
We came
process
to
of coronation
Tanzelville
when
to
she
honor
came
the
back.
spirits of our ancestors.
Yeah, because she
Now they
was
seem bloody
gone
well
for so
determined
long.
to kill
And
us
he's
all.
like super xenophobic.
He is
An excellent question,
indeed.
for which I have no answer. My dear sister, your queen, brought us here to perform a ceremonial ritual. It's a bit of political theater.
He's very
really.
like agnostic
Gain the blessings of
for
the dead
being
and
as
all that
racist as
rubbish.
he is. Because usually, if you're racist and think you're
If danger
superior,
doesn't find her,
then you
she'll
think it's
seek
like
it out and invite it home to
ordained by the
dinner.
gods or
She's in
however
the
have
ruins
you.
just
But
ahead,
he's
conspiring
agnostic
with
on
the
top of it
battle
all, which makes
They're
it
determined to
fascinating.
complete the ceremony.
Well, because for
Do
the
be a loyal
elves,
subject and see
it's
that
more
she
like a
survives,
genetic
won't you?
because physically they appear to be superior.
Because we need another reason to still hate eugenics all these years later.
when you're killing off 90% of your race, that is extremely excessive eugenics.
I swear, it's like being home for a New Life festival. The family's been drinking since noon. And
Gosh,
everyone
there was
wants
one
you
of those dystopias where that was part of it. Oh, The
Tradition.
Giver,
Whenever a new monarch
which
takes
gets
the throne,
cut out of like
there are
every
endless rituals
TV
and
or movie
ceremonies.
iteration of it.
I
Yeah.
myself
I mean, you
was more
literally
than
see the
halfway
deaths
through
of
the
so many
88 days
people
of
that get purged
liturgical
just because
chanting
they're not
required
perfect
to
in
take
some
the
way.
throne. Then my dear sister returned. Oh, you know how it is. In the waters off the island, there are great sea beasts. Smaller creatures cling to their sides, eating the scraps they leave behind. It's just the same with nobility on land.
Oh, that's cool. So they have to enter the Sabiar's labyrinth to become.
You're the Queen's new favorite, yes? I recall you from the Vulcal Guard. Good that you're here.
Wow, this elf has crystal blue eyes.
Oh, nothing. It's just hard to see how she'll ever gain the trust of the common.
Why would he
now.
have to spend that much time studying their custom
Some will
and
say that the dead
ceremony?
know something we do not.
Because he wasn't
That she's
educated to become
unfit to be
king?
queen.
No, because he was following
There's nothing to
traditions,
that,
and
as you well
Queen
know.
Irene doesn't.
But it won't stop some from saying it.
Kairos said, "Gonna call it a night, guys." All right, Kairos. We're gonna call it here too. As soon as we hit the 3-hour mark, we're gonna raid out, which is in like 2 minutes. See ya later. I like that it's like actually a character. It's kind of cool.
I love that she was gone for years, and he was barely even through like the first couple stages of becoming a monarch.
Yeah, that's how it is when you live so long.
Oh my lord, that's great. That's a good spot to stop. What happens when your life is measured in hundreds of years instead of single digits? Oh my goodness.
Alright, well, I think this is a good stopping point for our stream for the night. I'm going to throw us over to the ending soon screen, and we're going to start looking for someone to raid. I hope you guys had a good time. It was a very chill night, right? Like, we just kind of vibed tonight. And we finished
All the
Hrothgar.
vibing.
We actually finished Hrothgar. Was that our third attempt?
I think that was our 6th session.
6? Really? No, I mean, because over the course of our careers playing ESO, each time that we've quit the game for like long periods of time, it's been because of Hrothgar.
You're right. Because of Hrothgar. Oh my gosh. I thought we got rid of that bug as soon as we actually completed the main story.
Yeah.
I took a sigh of relief.
Yeah, that helped. Also, having an actual schedule helps a lot too. Because it makes me feel like I have to be consistent, which is nice. So let's see who's live.
If you ever want to flip games for just, a night or two, we could always check out that superhero game again, the DC Universe.
Oh, the DC Universe one. It did finally get the next gen update, but it hasn't released on Xbox yet.
Well, maybe after it gets its update, we can peruse again. I can't. You changed characters. Did you settle on the ice character, or was it something else?
In the DC MMO.
Yeah.
It was the one that had been blessed by an Egyptian god.
Yeah.
And used a bow. I don't remember her name. Memphis?
Yeah, I don't. Oh yeah, I remember her now. Yeah.
Crimson Memphis. Because we were playing villains.
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We could get back into that. That was a fun game.
And I named my character the Harborage, and I'm the demonic fear demon.
Yes. All right. I think.
Fun. You cut out. What's up?
Oh no, sorry, I didn't cut out. I'm still here. I just stopped mid-sentence because I'm checking who we want to raid and making sure that people aren't like ending, because you don't want to like raid into somebody and then they immediately end.
Have them have to raid.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna go ahead and raid a streamer named Ali Avali, who is playing Cult of the Lamb.
Oh, that's a good game.
Yeah. I don't know if he's like still streaming. I'm looking at his stream right now and it's kind of on like maybe he might be doing like technical repair. I don't know. But that's where we're going. So our next stream may not be this weekend because it's a holiday weekend. I am having family over tomorrow. But definitely Monday. That's the schedule. Hope you all had a good time. And we'll see you later.